most part of this group. He's been the best player in this group. Of that, there is no shadow of a doubt. And Andy Bolton is the first player through.
Hair-raising stuff from Bradley Roes.
Game on the second man.
And when he does, what a spurt at the end there from Pilgrim.
Tops. Marvellous. Magical. Sebastian Bialecki, a 154 to start.
It's ka-ching for does it. It's a ka-ching for Bradley Brooks. Bullseye. Majestic. Absolutely majestic.
A very good evening and welcome along to the first night session here at the ADC Global Championship. The first week really does get serious from this point onwards. 5 players and 5 real contenders to be lifting this trophy this time next week. 5 players who really have got a big CV, and talking about big CV, Scott Mitchell is alongside me here in the studio this evening. We'll talk about this afternoon's Group C in just a second, but I want to talk about the lineup because from top to toe tonight, we have got real quality in this Group B.
Yeah, we really do have. It's going to be. We spoke to Andy Bolton on yesterday, and he said he wanted to be out of Group A and done so that he could watch tonight. So that's a sign that he didn't want to be in this group either.
Well, this afternoon saw Group C begin, and we have 3 players tied on 8 points. One of them, Adam Lipscomb, who is playing in a hometown tournament here in Portsmouth over the course of the next fortnight, and a player in 2024 that has really improved.
Yeah, absolutely. Even today we saw him improve. He had a slow start losing out to Brian Ramon in his first game, but then he reeled 4 off, and they were tough games, and he managed to turn over James Richardson in his last match of the group, and that's what sees him sat top of the group on leg difference.
Well, let's have a look at the table. As you can see, Adam Lipscomb top on legs difference, and James Richardson and Brian Ramon. Conor Heenahan, the next closest player, on 4 points. But does it look like a three-way fight for the 2 spots tomorrow?
There's a possibility it could. Conor's got to play Gemma first game tomorrow, so he could catch up before the top 3 guys have even played. And if they start the game and looking over their shoulder, another one could get into that bunch.
Well, we're halfway through the week. Let's have a look at the tournament bracket. Andy Bolton won Group A on Wednesday afternoon, and tonight is all about Group B. And there's 5 players in there. Every single one of them has won a week at the Super Series in the past, and every single one of them will probably fancy their chances.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think it's going to be all about early doors because this group, it's only 4 games an evening, not 5. So you can't afford to lose 2 games on the bounce in this group. So it depends how these guys start and how they play at the start. But for me, they all play at a pace that suits each other and suits one another. There's no sort of old-timer slowing it up in the middle, you know. So I'm expecting some fast and furious action. And when they're playing their own pace and their natural pace, we're going to see some brilliant action.
Well, let's talk about the players that have come into proceedings today. Now, we'll begin with Daryl Pilgrim. He ran off the bookmakers' favourite to win the week on Monday. He's the favourite to win this group and still favourite to win the week. 2024 hasn't had as many highlights as 2023, but is there signs that things are just beginning to move back in the right direction for Daryl?
Yeah, I think there probably is, and probably I looked at 23, and he was pretty dominant here every time he came here, Daryl. This was the place that he loved to play, so that's probably why the bookies have made him favourite off the way that he loves this place. So yeah, you can look at 2024, but the current form is right now, right here and today.
What about Bradley Brooks? His first year off the tour since losing his tour card at the end of 2023. What will be your assessment on how he's dealt with life outside the PDC?
I think as soon as you do lose a tour card, it is very sort of into the wilderness. You have to treat it like one door's closed and now another door's open, and I think he's done that. He's done the Challenge Tour. He's still had the Development Tour. So he's possibly played a wee bit more than he would have done with a card. So only time will tell, and we'll see what Bradley turns up tonight.
Well, let's have a look at the odds and see what the bookies think about the action in Group B that we're going to be watching over the next couple of days. Pilgrim and Brooks, the 2 favourites. Sebastian Bialecki also at 11-4. When you look at the level that he's ascertained, particularly on Tuesday and Wednesday, how difficult is he going to be to beat?
I think he could be quite difficult to beat. We know that Seb's usually a slow starter in Group A, and he finished yesterday with 5 out of 5 on the bounce and beating the table topper in Andy Bolton. So we know he's in pretty good nick. It's how he's sort of rested between yesterday and today. And he seems to play better against the better players. He likes to step up for the challenge. He's been on the biggest stages. You know, he really does have a lot of experience for one so young. And I don't think there's anything that's going to faze him here this evening. It's just whether he can get his game out and match them.
It's 18 plus, gambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Global Championship this evening. Our first game sees the bookmakers' favourite and the bookmakers' outsider go toe-to-toe. Daryl Pilgrim is odds-on to win this group, whilst Thomas Banks is the outsider of the 5. For Mr. P, he's looking to end the year with global supremacy here in Portsmouth, and I caught up with him earlier on this evening. Daryl, welcome along to the ADC Global Championship. How much are you looking forward to the next couple of days?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, something different.
It's to say, different competition for yourself. How much are you going to embrace the opportunity?
Yeah, quite a lot. I mean, it's the first one of its kind, so...
Does that give you an extra little bit of motivation? Be the first player, playing in the first tournament, wanting to be the first to succeed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, always motivated to win, but yeah, it's just that extra little bit of edge.
Let's talk about 2024 and talk about the year that you've had. We've mentioned it in the past that the start of the year wasn't too great, but it's felt like in recent months you're really building up towards something.
Yeah, this year's certainly been more up and down than last year, but I feel like I'm finding form at the right time.
You were here last week for the Tour Championship finals where you involved in a great game against Gary Stone, just didn't quite work out for you.
Yeah, no, I played all right, just... I went 2-1 up, and I think it annoyed him because he went mental after that. But yeah, it's one of those games.
Do you enjoy being the senior citizen in the group?
No, I'm quite a lot older than most of the players in this group.
However, does that go the other way round? Because I suppose that makes you the experienced player in the field.
Yeah, I suppose you could say I played my first county youth game before any of them were born, I think. So.
And so in terms of this tournament, going just maybe a little bit further ahead, being the first of its kind, how important would it be for you to make a big mark on this tournament?
Yeah, it'd be a big statement. I haven't done as well as I would have liked in Modus this year, so to win this one would be very nice.
Well, I wish you all the very best in that pursuit, Daryl. Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Two players with big ceilings, two players with big expectations here at the ADC Global Championship go toe-to-toe in the first game of the evening session. Thomas Banks went into this tournament on Monday morning as the #1 seed, whilst Daryl Pilgrim went into it as the favourite to go on and lift the trophy on Saturday evening. They lock horns in the opening match of Group B on this Thursday night. It's a battle between two power scorers who could play the game at a tremendously high level, but both know that they've had some battle scars recently on this stage. Daryl Pilgrim comes into this #2 of the UK Windmill Tour in 2024. He's looking to end the year as the global champion. As too is Thomas Banks, who went in as the #1 UK-based player, the 18-year-old Bulldog, for whom Monday didn't quite correlate, but a strong end to Group A on Tuesday and Wednesday has seen him sneak into Group B and sneak into the night session, which is his preferable route. Two players who will be hoping to be here next Sunday, lifting the big jackpot. That's how lofty their expectations are. Owen Binks in charge of the action.
Game on
this Thursday evening, and the first darting anchor will be thrown by Daryl Pilgrim. Scott Mitchell is alongside me in the commentary box this evening. An evening which promises to deliver.
Yeah, we have an outstanding 5 in this lineup who
100.
all kind of complement each other with pace, and I'm really looking forward to how this stuff goes this evening. We have an intriguing evening indeed.
141.
Daryl's been pretty much on the ball for the last month or so, since the end of the Challenge Tour season, which, if you remember, on the last day actually gave himself an outside chance of getting a Tour card, going deep in the final event of the season. He played here at the Tour Championship finals, where he was beaten in a humding of a game by Gary Stone. He played a week here at the Super Series, where he made it through to
34.
Saturday night, but was knocked out in a high-quality evening, which was won by Jimmy Van Schie. And he's also been playing a lot locally and on other circuits
26.
where available. So he should come into this particular tournament match sharp, and this really is the point of the year where you really want to reach your peak.
Yeah, it is. No matter where you're playing, you want to peak at the end of the year.
38.
No matter what organisation, all the big stuff is happening now.
94. Daryl, you require 155.
Here's the man from Croydon, who's first to finish in this opening leg. 6 starts, 155 to take the opener. On throw.
57.
Chased around the board there, did Pilgrim, and didn't find any success.
100.
Thomas
Daryl, you
Banks has
require
now put this
98.
98 under a certain amount of pressure. Double 19. Don't want to go too hard with the first. Use it as a marker.
60. Thomas, you require 81.
Pilgrim went with it. 12 for bullseye.
56. Daryl,
Not
you
far
require
away, but Thomas
38.
would have felt that was a pinch if he took. And so Pilgrim will stay direct on the double 19,
on
and
the
this time
first
pin it
leg.
first time of
Daryl
asking.
Pilgrim.
It was a leg that he dominated, and it's a leg that he eventually gets on the board.
Second leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
As far as Thomas is concerned, played in Group A, finished in 3rd position.
92.
Pipped Andreas Nicolau to the post in terms of getting the final spot through to this particular session.
180.
As far as Daryl is concerned, when that first dart hits the top of the treble 20 bed, you expect maximums left, right and
97.
centre. We've been speaking about first dart merchants all week long, and he really is chief amongst them.
$39. $140.
Guaranteed max.
180.
On second of the leg. Didn't take him long to find his range.
60. Daryl, you require 102.
You got the sense this is a group where everybody will just knock lumps out of one another, and the early indications are of
62.
exactly
Thomas
that.
require
Pilgrim's left tops
112.
after 12 for the break. Is he going to get a go at it? Banks needs treble 20 here to go to Medard at double 16, unable to take.
56. Daryl,
And
you
so
require
tops for the
40.
break and a 2-0 lead for Mr. P.
Game shot on the second
Into the
leg.
top corner,
Daryl Pilgrim.
13 data, 2-0 Pilgrim.
Third leg, it's Daryl to throw first. Game on.
Fair to say, Thomas has not really been given a chance to settle here. The one dart at the bullseye.
58.
Now it's Pilgrim on throw. You imagine that he's going to have some double treble visits
60.
to get near one again. Strong start from Pilgrim. Very strong start. And the guys in the players' room out back will be watching this.
119.
I'm thinking Mr. Pilgrim is starting to lay down
81.
his intentions for the evening.
Would it be fair to say if every single player in this group played to their absolute A game that Daryl may have the highest ceiling of the 5?
100.
Yes, I would say yes. But we know that he's not happy with his 24 form. His 2024 form. And
134.
definitely off the stuff he was doing in 2023. He was unlucky not to get a tour card back then. And I think it knocked him a little bit. If I'm honest, everything had been going his own way till then. But he's now back, sort of getting near that form. And if I know Daryl, he'll be working very hard on the practice board.
59. Daryl,
Because
you
you have
require
to believe
84.
to achieve, and you have to put the hours and the work in. And I know that's something that he does.
This a 3-0. Double 7 doesn't go,
77.
but
Thomas, you require
Thomas Banks has had
167.
one dart in this match and a bullseye to win a leg, and he's not going to get a poke at it on the back of a 167 here. And so Pilgrim for a
57.
3-0 lead.
Daryl, you
And
require
to confirm his
7.
domination of this contest so far. He's got 2 in his hand at double 2.
Game shot.
3-0 Pilgrim.
Leg.
He is
Daryl.
irresistibly good right now. And Thomas Banks has not got an answer for it.
Leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Interesting you mention
99.
his form in 2024. Sometimes when you come to a tournament like this, can you just wipe everything away in terms of the form guide? You've probably played in enough lakesides to know that you've come into that tournament on the back of good years, bad years. And when you've had the bad years on circuit, when you walk through the doors of the Frimley Green, or in Daryl's case here, the Live
58.
Lounge, does everything that's happened before almost wipe away from your mind because this tournament is such a distinctive one-off?
It just depends what sort of character you are. Some people believe that you put me in the room and I've got a chance. Others believe that they've got a chance if they've had a run of form coming in. I was always one of those that needed a run of form, but it just depends how you are as a person. But we all, once we get in there, whether we've got a bit of form or not, all believe in ourselves once we put that toe to the hockey and believe we can beat anybody in the land.
140.
Well, the scoring has been emphatic from Pilgrim. 7 visits in this game with 2 troubles or more. His average in excess of 101.5. And he's left himself on 41 after 9 to complete a comprehensive 4-0 victory over Thomas Banks. 8-8. Daryl Pilgrim begins with a statement performance. An average of 98.5, 50% on his doubles, and he finishes off with a 12-darter to dispatch of Thomas Banks in 8 minutes flat. A 4-0 victory for Daryl Pilgrim to kickstart his Global Championship campaign. Coming up after the break, we're going to see Bradley Brooks for the first time on this stage in this tournament up against Sebastian Bialecki, who yesterday was the player of the day. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship here on Pluto TV. It's our second game of the evening session, and it sees Bradley Brooks and Sebastian Bialecki go toe-to-toe on the live lounge stage. And before the break, we saw Daryl Pilgrim really make his mark on this tournament, averaging 98.5 in a 4-0 victory against Thomas Banks. But Bradley Brooks has been making his mark on the ADC circuit in 2024. The 24-year-old from Blackburn, nicknamed Bam Bam, the former World Youth Champion, is looking to be the first ever global champion. Up against Sebastian Bialecki, for whom this is his final time in Portsmouth for at least a couple of years before he moves on to the PDC Pro Tour circuit, and how he'd love to sign off from action here at the live lounge with the Global Championship trophy. It's a heavy one, but it's a prize which has big distinction to it, and to be the first to hold it aloft will also carry big distinction. There's Owen Binks.
First leg, it's Bradley to throw first.
He's your referee for
Game
all of the
on.
night's action. Bradley to get us underway here in Game 2. His first year off the circuit, he dropped off the PDC Pro Tour at the end of 2023. I think it's fair to say it took him a little while to
59.
get going. He went through a real transitional period, a lot of changes involving his game, but it feels like things really are just coming together now as the latter half of the year really comes up to the boil.
99.
Won a week of the Super Series in the summer. Would have made it through to the final of the Tour Championships if it wasn't for an 11 darter by Charlie Martin in the last leg of their quarterfinal. Led that particular
134.
contest 3-1 before losing out 4-3 in the final 4. But Sebastian Bialecki yesterday, Scott, was absolutely irresistible. He won all 5 matches, and in every single game he played, averaged in excess of 90.
39.
Yeah, he was on top form yesterday. He did make a run at getting to the top, but for him, Andy Bolton had already done enough damage in the first 2 days that made him pretty
24.
uncatchable. So Seb went through 5 out of 5 yesterday. That's no mean feat on any day, but particularly here when it's the best of the best at the ADC Global Championship. So expect more of these from
180.
Sebastian Bialecki. He's hit 16 this week already. That makes number 17.
57.
Two players that are very similar in terms of the key components of their game. Real power scoring at times and are consistent when it comes to their
55.
finishing. But maybe their mannerisms around the stage can contrast at times. Sebastian won't give much away, whereas sometimes Brad can get just a little bit hot above the collar. But in fairness, it's one thing that he's really improved upon this year, keeping cool in big situations. Bialecki looking at 1-2-8 to take out the opening leg against Throw. Not to be this time. 56 left.
88. Bradley require 87.
Brooks looking at 87 to save his throw in this opening leg.
Go treble 20. And when you go for the treble 20, you can stray.
75. Sebastian, you require 40.
He's left 12, but Bialecki here carved open a chance of a break, and he won't want to let it slip.
First leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Sebastian hasn't let it slip. It's a 17
Second leg, it's
dart
Sebastian to
opening
draw
break, and
first. Game on.
once a leg goes into that distance against a throw, you've got to be getting a dart at a double.
100.
Feels like one of those nights, Scott, where 5 visits is the absolute minimum requirement.
60.
To hold throw, I would say yes, you're absolutely right. The clientele that we have here tonight, I would say that's a very true statement. But they don't always do 15 dart legs,
57.
and there can be a certain amount of pressure on your own throw here with the clientele that we do have thrown against the throw against you.
Well, the bookmakers
100.
can't really make out between Bradley and Seb in this group or in this tournament because their odds really do not change. In terms of winning Group B, they were both 11-4 with the bookmakers before a dart was thrown, but also they're at the same price to win the
43.
week. They're a joint third favourite with the odds compilers, both quoted at 11-2. The bookmakers can't make heads or tails of the pair.
57.
Yeah, for Seb to average 90.59 over the first 3 days, when the first day he really did have a stinker for what Seb usually plays like, to get it back up to 90.
100.
He went well over the last 2 days, so we know that that's kind of his ceiling, 90. But at the moment, there's a lot of respect going on up there. There's a little bit of
42.
edginess. Both sort of, well, Seb's just over the 80 and Brad's just under the 80. So they're both feeling each other out early doors here. And you're just waiting for the blue touch paper to light.
140.
And these two young fellas go at it hammer and tongs to each other.
Well, Seb's making the more indicative
140.
signs that he's
Sebastian
beginning to
requires
push.
61.
And after getting the break in the opening leg, he's going to get 2 darts at double 18 to consolidate it.
25.
But he's unable to
Bradley
take,
require
and Brooks has an
102.
outside shout with a 102.
Just making a decision on where he's going. Still unsure, but he's doing the right thing by stepping back.
Game shot in the second leg.
And I knew it was a realistic
Bradley
chance. When you've been broken, you'll do anything to get the break back.
The leg, it's Bradley to throw first.
A break is only a
Game.
break when you hold your own throw after. So stay with us for a couple of minutes and let's see what goes on here.
I mentioned in the introduction to this game,
140.
Bradley just stepping back for a second. I think one of the things that's really improved in 2024 has been his temperament and not maybe going head first into things, just taking a second just to
59.
compose his thoughts at times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you have to be
97.
careful, particularly when you're in a room environment where your thoughts go and what you're doing in preparation to play games on the board. I think the Dev Tour is developing,
140.
and you have to say it's developing marvellous players at the moment. I still feel it. I still feel the cut-off is a bit old. I still feel the cut-off should be a bit younger.
120.
But you can't argue with what it's producing.
Of course, Bradley, former World Youth Champion. That was in the COVID year of 2020 when he picked up that particular title. That tournament was held in Coventry that year.
143.
Beat Joe Davies in that final. He's looking for 143 here. He's looking for back-to-back tub plus finishes, but he's unable to follow up
91.
the 102 of a 143. But he's put himself in a good position here to move 2-1 in front when he had to dodge a couple of bullets. Against him with Seb looking to build up a 2-0 lead early on in the match.
54. Bradley, you require 52.
Really safe with the 20.
Game shot in the third
Really
leg.
safe with the double
Bradley
16. So
Brooks.
from one down, Bradley Brooks has
Full
taken a
leg, it's
2-1 lead.
Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
That shows in the averages he's upped his average by 9 or 10 points from where he was at 1-0 down, and that's no coincidence with that.
99.
2 darts at a double as well. 2 legs, 2 darts. 100% on his doubles. Looks to really been settling in now.
140.
This is the thing with players that play with an edge like Bradley Brooks. You could see the snarl on the back of the stage. When it is set perfectly, it worked perfectly. And that's exactly
96.
where it feels like he's at right now. But one thing you'll get with Sebastian Bialecki is a never say die attitude, and it's so hard to break down.
41.
Yeah, Seb should start down on this, and he does. He'll stay down. Bullseye with the last.
139.
Nicely done.
41. Sebastian require 167.
6 darts from 167 to level this game up at 2 apiece. And this game, probably what we expected for the large course of the evening.
96.
Tight matches being played to a decent enough standard, although both players will feel like they've left a few points in terms of average in the locker.
59.
Yeah, that'll be that
Sebastian
first leg that
requires 71.
really has damaged the average, but both won't be worried about the average if they walk away from this first game with a win, I can assure you.
31.
Although total averages will play a big part in the Global Championship because that's how some of the seedings will be
60.
dictated. So
Sebastian, you require
the 2 winners of
40.
the week will get 1 and 2 seeding based on their average on the week that they won, and vice versa, the runners-up and the semi-finals. So that is, in fairness, a nagging issue for another day. And this tops is a nagging issue here for Sebastian
20.
Bialecki. The first
Ready,
2 bent the wire. They were
106.
such good guys that it made it just a bit more difficult for the third. And Brooks is looking to swoop in again. It would have been the second time that Bialecki would have missed a couple at a
96.
double, and Brooks would have hit a
Sebastian
tub plus
require
checkout.
20.
Yeah, right smile from Brooks there because he thought it was going.
On the 4th leg. Sebastian
gets it.
Bialecki.
With his 5th dart, a double this leg.
5th leg, it's Bradley to throw first. Game on.
But the most important number is in the legs box. 2 to Brooks, 2 to Bialecki.
95.
As you were, a best of 3 to see who wins this second game of the night and who joins Daryl Pilgrim in the winners' enclosure. We'll see Mr. P in action up next against Bradley Roes. He'll make his debut here at the Global Championship.
$140.
His second game really has swung back and forth. Both players have had the lead at one point in the match. Both players feel like they've had the
58.
opportunity to extend the lead in the match. Here's Bradley on throw in this 5th leg that has got the advantage of throw, but also the advantage on the scoreboard.
46.
But a dry turn there has opened up the doors here for Sebastian if he can find a big one here.
$100.
So 6 on this 220 for Bradley to re-establish his advantage at 3-2.
100.
He leads himself on Shanghai after 12. He's another to leave a finish.
140.
Does exactly that.
Bradley, 120.
So Brooks looking to climb the ladder to climb into a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, it's a very good start. But with his darts sticking up like they do, it can be problematic. Now he's going to go across and go for the top right-hand corner.
82.
Just
Sebastian require
drags
145.
it wide and leaves himself double 19. Treble 19. Double 14 now incoming. Oh,
Game
lovely,
shot
lovely
the
break
5th leg.
from Sebastian Bialecki.
Bialecki. 6th leg, it's Sebastian to throw first.
Bradley
Game
Brooks
on.
shakes his head at the back of the stage. He cannot believe what he has been hit with. And you have to say, sheer
100.
bottle, sheer resilience, sheer never say die attitude there from Sebastian Bialecki.
100.
Just when Brooks mistops himself for a tub plus finish.
Yeah, it was an ouch, ouch, ouch moment, wasn't it? And how much is that going to turn this match?
93.
Even when Sebastian Bialecki hasn't been at his rip-roaring best, he's found a moment of quality to swing the
57.
game in his direction.
He should start on the 18s here, which he has. Now we're looking for 2 treble 20s. There's 1. Here's the second. Oh,
130.
lovely stuff. 170 left. And that was a big momentum swinger, wasn't it? The 145.
180.
Bradley Brooks is
170.
not really done a lot here. 100, not done a lot wrong. 157, 180. Here we go. The bullseye to take the match. This would be some sensational finish. Oh, he's only gone and done it. Sebastian Bialecki, take a bow, son. Take a bow. 145 and 170. We said at the top of the show there was going to be special moments tonight. They've already started in game 2. Here we go with the averages. 88.96 for Bradley Brooks. 2 from 3 on the doubles. Sebastian Bialecki 90.81. But it wasn't about the averages. It was about the 145 to take his third leg and the 170 to take his fourth leg. We're now heading into a break. You've got time to put the kettle on, but don't miss us. Come back, because we've got Bradley Roes taking on Daryl Pilgrim.
Welcome back to the ADC Global Championships here on Pluto TV. For those who haven't done so already, download the Pluto TV app on your favourite smart devices, including your smart TV, so you don't miss any of the darting drama. Stream now, pay never. Our third game in the evening session sees Bradley Roes and Daryl Pilgrim go toe-to-toe. We've already seen Daryl win 4-0 tonight against Thomas Banks, averaging 98.5 in the process, putting in a statement performance and laying down a marker for the rest of the field. As to Bradley Roes, a player who has won on this stage in the past, he's also made it through to a couple of finals in the Super Series format. The 20-year-old who came through the ADC EU member qualifier from the Hague in the Netherlands, a famous part of the darting world, emblazoned in blue this evening, up against a man who enjoyed a real purple patch in his opening game of the evening session. Daryl Pilgrim is the senior player in this group, and he's only 37 years of age. However, he may feel like one of those world seniors players. I wonder what that feels like, Scott Mitchell.
Great. That's what it feels like. It feels great.
And Daryl would have felt great after that first victory against Thomas Banks. For Bradley, this is a stage which
It's Bradley to throw
he plays
first.
very well on. Sometimes he
Game
plays
on.
in excess of himself on. Made numerous finals here in the past. Former weekly winner, as I mentioned. That was early on this year when he played in the Series 7 Champions Week of the Modus Super Series. And we should also mention a player that's won 2 World Youth titles, one in the JDC and one in the WDF. And if he wins this particular tournament, well, he becomes a global champion in the senior game, in the men's game. What an achievement that would be at just 20 years of age.
60.
Yeah, it really would, but he's a talented young man. It's Bradley Roes, and he's a nice young man as well to chat to.
134.
So that's half the challenge. Having the right attitude.
I think Bradley's one of those players that, because of the way the Modus Super Series works, and because of the format, and because he's a regular player here, we've actually got to see develop in front of our own eyes. The first week he was here, I was sat in commentary with Chris Mason, and the technical ability was there, but there was very much a rawness about him. He let a lot of things get him down. The shoulders slumped a lot. And actually, he listened to a lot of the comments that were being made on commentary that week, and a lot of advice from others. And we've really seen him mature as a player in the intervening 18 months since.
I think it's a good thing for young players to watch games back. I think it's a natural thing for them to do. And sometimes they will pick up things that they notice that they're not quite doing right themselves. And then maybe, as you say, listen to those comments from
44.
maybe some of the players are a little longer in the tooth and experience the problems that they've actually had.
Cal could have a problem if he doesn't find double 5. It's a big finish, but it's a finish nonetheless that Bradley's on.
Weren't we saying this just moments ago for a 145 with Sebastian Bialecki?
Well, we've already seen 2 big finishes from Bolt tonight, the 145, and then the big fish already being reeled this evening. Pilgrim wants a measly double 5, and now less than that. 2 2s to get the break for eventually. Now, we saw this in the opening game against Thomas Banks, where scoring-wise he got off to a real positive start. It took him just a couple of goes to get his first double, but then once he got his first, and once he got on the board against the Bulldog, there really was no looking back. 5 legs played, 5 legs won for Mr. P.
It was an 18-dart leg.
100. $98. $58.
I have to say Bradley Roes has not quite found his momentum yet, has he? And found his range. His line and length is a bit off at the minute.
100.
There was great expectations on it before the tournament. It's a sluggish start for the Dutchman. And Daryl Pilgrim hasn't really been in much need of getting any further than out of 5th gear so far to really dominate this contest.
133.
And he's on the cusp of a 2-0 lead in next to no time at all. He got the breaker throw in the opening leg and he's left himself on 74 after 12 to confirm it. And this will be for 6 legs in a row to begin his evening.
125. Daryl requires 74.
That's a little better from Bradley Roes. You're feeling he's starting to find the treble. 63, is he going treble 13? Yes, he has. Now he's got choices to make.
Game shot.
He's chose to go the ball route.
Daryl Pilgrim.
And it was the one to go for.
Third leg, it's Bradley
So
to
a bit of
throw
flamboyance
first.
there from
Game on.
Daryl Pilgrim.
Not just was it a bullseye, but it was a bullseye situated right in the middle of the bed. And Bradley maybe just beginning to wake up to the task.
He did it a 1-2-5 with his last visit of the
97.
last leg, did Roes, but opened up with a 140.
$48.
Now you could tell me if I'm spinning a narrative where there's not one here, but Bradley's always played the full week here when he's played at the Super Series. This is the first time he's ever come
50.
into a 2-day scenario. So he's always had time to build up a week. So if the first day doesn't go to plan, he's got 4 more days. Whereas this time round, if it doesn't go to plan tonight, he could be out the competition. Does that play a different dynamic, or am I just creating a narrative that's not there?
You're spinning a narrative where there's not one.
Great.
Well, I'll let you carry on. You asked me to tell you that, so I told you that. I don't know what more I can do as a co-commentator.
96.
I do everything you ever ask me. No, I do agree there could be an element to that, but particularly in this game, Daryl Pilgrim's in the same boat. So the only thing that Bradley has against him here, that this is his first game and it's Daryl's second.
180.
So that's probably the narrative that's more important in this particular situation. I've done this Group B. I've been the one that has not had the game, and the first game is particularly tough, particularly when your opponent's had a game and as good as the one that he had.
Bradley, you require 48.
It all sits in the brain. So I don't believe it's about whether you played all week or not. I feel player number 5, playing in the third game for the first time, it's a very tough spot to play.
And that
16.
was a tough
Now
spot,
we
which you nearly
require
found a way around in
124.
terms of that double 16. But hang your hats. Bullseye again for Pilgrim. But not found
99.
again for Mr. P.
Bradley, you require 32.
So this to get a leg on the board and maybe ignite the touch paper. Got to go right. Got to throw across.
Game
Nicely
shot
done.
the third leg.
Nicely
Bradley
done, young
Roes.
man. That wasn't an easy double to hit.
Fourth leg, it's Daryl to throw first. Game on.
Adjusted nicely. Now maybe he'll settle down. He's hitting a couple. He's having double treble visits there at the start of the leg and at the end of the
100.
last. Now he's got his first leg under his belt. Maybe it's time to move on, but this isn't a good start
40.
to the leg. When your opponent, I say only a ton, it's a good start. Any ton, start of any leg is a good start. But now another treble here, and he will really be gapped.
140.
And you look up at the scoreboard and see yourself 200 behind already, and you've only had one throw. It makes it a pretty daunting challenge.
100.
Well, this sums up how good a player Daryl Pilgrim is. At this present moment in time, he's averaging just a shade under 95.5. But it still feels like there's levels left in the locker. Levels just like that. And now he really is beginning to make a move in this contest. He's left himself on 81 after 9, looking to build up a 2-leg gap and to move in a leg of his second victory of the evening.
96.
We mustn't forget that Daryl Pilgrim holds a few records here in the MSS.
Game shot on the 4th leg.
Nice 11 dart leg coming in. So we know his quality. We know his quality.
First. Game on.
He holds the highest average record here. 122.69. He holds the highest losing average record here. 118.88 against Scott Taylor. With Scott Taylor, he holds the combined running average here. The combined average between the two players of 109.64.
99.
So we know that he knows this place inside out. You're not doing that if you're not comfortable here.
Pretty much owns the record book here, does Daryl Pilgrim. But I think you'd like to translate that into a tangible success. He's won 3 weeks in the Modus Super Series to win a Champions
96.
Week. And I think if he won this tournament, it'll feel like a justification for all the things that he's done in this particular building. And a big title that perhaps his level of play,
140.
I won't say deserve, because you've got to win those things, but you look at his ability and everything that he's got in that particular department, he's a player you'd think should be at the thick end of events.
57.
Yeah, and ultimately, it's looking like he will be early doors. This is a group that's always difficult, just 4 games in the evening.
Game shot on the 5th leg. Bradley
Nicely
Roes.
done, Bradley Roes.
6th leg, it's Daryl to throw first. Game on.
140, 140, 140, 81 in 2. 12 dart leg and
60.
bounces back against the 11 of Daryl Pilgrim.
This game really coming up to the boil now as you head towards the concluding stages of it. 12 darted by Bradley in the previous leg, but is that just an act of defiance, or is it the beginning of a comeback against Daryl Pilgrim, who's just looked so strong, so solid, so difficult to break down this evening?
140.
Averaged 98.56 in his first game, and right here is averaging 98.55. We know exactly where he's pitching his tent right now.
41.
Yeah, when you're playing a player like Pilgrim that absolutely smashes that treble 20, a bit like playing his friend Lukeman as well, they give you no time off. There's no breaks in play. There's no resting time. There's no space for error. They give you no time of anything. And just like a flash,
47.
Pilgrim is down to 161 after 9.
He's got as much time as he wants to wrap this contest up, and he's left himself on his favourite double 18 after 12 to complete a 4-2 victory against Bradley Roes.
59.
Average at the moment in excess of 101. It's been another excellent display. It's been a perfect start for Mr. P, who is enjoying a purple patch on the live lounge stage. 2 victories and 2 comprehensive displays so far for Daryl Pilgrim. It was an average of 98.5 in his opener, an average of just under a ton there. His doubling delightful as well. There's not much not to like about Daryl Pilgrim this evening, and when he's in this mood, he does very special things. 2 victories from 2 then for the favourite to win this group and to win this week. Coming up after the break, we're going to see Thomas Banks and Bradley Brooks go toe-to-toe on the stage. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship here on Pluto TV, where so far it's so good for Daryl Pilgrim. 2 averages late in the 90s, 2 top performances is establishing him as the top dog so far. He's on 4 points. These 2 players looking for their first points of the evening. Thomas Banks and Bradley Brooks going toe-to-toe in our 4th match of the evening session. Thomas was beaten by Daryl by 4-0 in the night's opening game. While for Bradley Brooks, he lost out to Sebastian Bialecki by 4-2. Didn't play bad, averaged just under 89, but it was the timing of 2 ton-plus checkouts for Sebastian Bialecki that was the undoing for Bam Bam. A 145 and a 170 finish for the pole saw Bradley Brooks off. But what do you expect from this 4th game of the evening session, Scott Mitchell?
Well, again, 2 players that know each other well from the development tour, and I expect it to be quite a quick game. And Thomas has started really well, 134, 140. And I think it's vital for both players to get a win here, because
99.
you don't want to be losing 2 games in a row. Otherwise, that gap to the 3rd place qualification becomes quite wide.
128.
Didn't need to go the 18 routes here,
58.
Thomas, because obviously Bradley Brooks being back on 220, but a 180 or a 140 here doesn't look like it's going to be either of those now. Just having a little look. He's got to go somewhere to leave
59.
some sort of finish.
Thomas, you require
19s, you leave 161. 8
Game
incoming
on the first leg.
for young Thomas Banks. And there's a no messing 14 dart leg to open us up with the throw.
First.
Yeah, he likes it.
This is a game that could be played with a fair bit of gumption, because both players like to give it some. It's one of those matches where if these 2 get going, it's a shame that it's only best of 7 legs the format. Big game for both, but you may get the sense that it's a bigger game for Bradley, mainly because of his next assignment, because after this, Bradley has to play Daryl Pilgrim in his 3rd game of the night, and the way Daryl's playing, it's going to take a special performance to stop him. So if he loses this one, he will feel like he is very much on the back foot because of the assignment ahead. And if he loses that one, then his final game of the evening, a meeting between Bradley Brooks and Bradley Roes, will feel like a must-win for the Blackburn boy if he's to keep any floating hopes alive.
60. $96.
It's a much better start from Thomas Banks.
$60.
Well, Brooks is first to a finish, but Banks should.
97.
And we'll leave it more handy. Leaves himself on a 2-darter. Bradley's had a couple of finishes like this hit against him this evening. He's going to get one of his own. Double 19 for a Bam Bam finish.
120.
But maybe the pause just offset him a little bit.
Yeah, it's a difficult note
Thomas,
to know what to do.
197.
Sometimes if you don't pause, you throw too quickly and you're kind of not focused on your double or where you're going. And sometimes it's better to take a step back, because if you throw rapidly and you miss it, you think, oh, I should have stopped. So you're between the devil and the deep blue sea, but Bradley Brooks tidies up nicely.
Third leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on. 60.
Both players played at the Championship Tour Finals last month, and they met in the opening rounds. It was Bradley Brooks that got a 4-2 victory
92.
over Thomas Banks in that particular quarter-final. Bradley went 3-1 up in his semi against Charlie Martin before then going on to lose 4-3. Andy Bolton was the eventual champion of that
93.
particular tournament. So both players have played one another in a big setting in this building. And Bradley does have
81.
Thomas's number in that particular respect.
$41. $58.
Well, Bradley will feel here now that he's taken the throw. 6 starts for 2-2-7 to move 2-1 in front and have that break in his favour.
93.
He's himself on 1-3-4 after 12. And Thomas scrambling here just to leave anything.
81. Bradley Rock
Great last start.
134.
But as Brooks' first poke for a 2-1 lead, missed double 19 for 158 in the previous legs. Not going to get a poke at a ton plus out this
94,
time round, but he is going to leave himself on tops. Unless he has another one hit against him. Surely not.
105.
Bradley Brooks would have expected that to have gone just because of the way his evening has panned out so far.
Turns the game on its head. Now a chance of a breaker throw.
Game shot on the third leg.
Double 10
Bradley
goes.
Brooks.
It's a 17 dart breaker throw.
Full flag, it's Bradley to throw first. Game on.
Now, Bradley has this weird hate-love relationship between tops and double 10. He hates double top so much that when 60's left with 3 darts in hand, he'll go
60.
treble 12, double 12. However, if he misses inside on tops, double 10 is his favourite double on the board.
81.
But he doesn't get as many goes at it as perhaps other players because he'll try and do everything in his power to avoid going for tops. It's such a
60.
intriguing dynamic. And obviously that's mainly because of the way his darts pitch up in the board that any dart approaching will block.
140. $96. $140.
Needs another. Cannot find it. Bradley got the break in the
140.
previous leg, but he could be broken back here.
Thomas has turned the throw. Nothing silly here. Leave it.
100.
He will return. How much pressure will he be under from Brooks? Something 185. 25 will be the shot.
90.
25 odd ball.
40.
Nicely done. Leaves himself a 2-darter.
Game shot on the
Thomas
fourth
does
leg.
well there.
Thomas Banks.
A nice 14-dart breaker throw. We're really seeing the better of Thomas now, aren't we?
Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Thomas was doing this in Group A. He could have troubled.
99.
He'd have troubled the rest of Group A, wouldn't he, with this sort of form? But we said that. This is what he does. Drops into Group A and then doesn't really get going till the end of the week.
96.
Well, let's have a look then at both players' darts as they go into the board. Both stand up to attention,
96.
but Bradley's particularly. We'll have a look here from this overhead angle. And actually, that's a decent illustration. That first dart just dipping below means that he hasn't got too much as far as a guide. It
60.
blocks the bed completely, and that's why he'll do his absolute best to try and avoid tops when possible on a setup turn, particularly on outshots like 60.
59.
Yeah, absolutely. And also with the stiffer flight system that he uses, you have to use them in exactly the right way, like here. They are a massive advantage, like there.
180.
What a great camera angle and camera shot that is of showing the example of how you can use a flight and a
59.
barrel in the board. But of course, when you don't want the barrel to go near where the first flight is, like when you're leaving 60, it can cause a problem.
59.
So when players are finding their setups, they have to make allowances for all this while they're choosing
140.
Their weapons of choice.
106.
Well, this is a key exchange. Brooks looking for the break and looking to lead 3-2. Should get a dart from here. Is going to get a dart. A double 16 to lead 3-2.
74.
And because he spurred that chance, Thomas
48.
Banks will come back for 48 to put himself a leg away. Double top. And now double 10.
Game
Pinned
shot on the
last
fifth
dart in
leg.
hand.
Thomas Banks.
Yeah, this is good from Thomas Banks.
Sixth leg, it's Bradley to throw first. Game on.
Just over the 90 average now. I felt with the tops, he just
91.
took a split second too long to release. But he made up for that and threw the double 10
92.
in perfect synchronicity.
Well, Bradley is playing around a basis of 88, 89
100.
throughout the course of the evening. But he could be 2 games down and it may not be good enough. Such is the
54.
quality of this group. Pitched in most other Group B scenarios, that would probably be enough for at least 2 points and in a lot of cases 4 points. But he's going to have to dig in here.
140.
But dig in he will. And he is going to get at least 6 on 170 to square this game up at 3
93.
apiece. It was
Bradley
the
require 107.
finish he was hit with on Sebastian Bialecki that sealed the win for the pole in his previous match. Didn't have to go for it, doesn't
96.
find it, but he's going to leave himself on 74 after 12 to take us a distance. It'll be the first game tonight that would have gone all 7 legs. We have had
92.
a
Bradley require
couple of
74.
4-2s.
Yeah, good counting there from Thomas Banks. Double 16
Game
incoming
shot on the
for Bradley
sixth
Brooks.
leg. Bradley
14
Brooks.
dart return from Bradley Brooks to
7
Thomas
foot final
Banks.
against
And now
Thomas
here we go at
Brooks.
3-3.
Game
The game's still only 11 minutes old.
99.
6 legs in.
Says a lot of things, playing at a good pace, but also playing at a good standard.
96.
Yeah, it's a good pace, but you can hardly say the guys are throwing their darts away too quickly.
96.
This could be the nervy, edgy leg at the end here, but Bradley Brooks just takes the pace out of the game, using his experience to be a little more precise.
180.
Oh, what a return from Thomas Banks.
171.
Great stuff from 2 young lads here. This is super to watch.
This could be back-to-back quad 80s to the final leg of the contest.
135.
And he's going to get a look at this 45 for the match. Banks couldn't find the 25. Isn't going to get a poke from here. And so Bradley Brooks, who was hit by some haymakers by
45.
Sebastian
Bradley
Bialecki in his
required
opening
45.
match, could well hit an 11 darter on Thomas Banks in the last leg of this contest. Double 16 to wrap it up. And to get his first win at the Global Championship. Bradley Brooks is on the board. Get in, he says,
Bradley
because he
Brooks.
knows how hard he had to work for that and how hard Thomas Banks made him work for it. And a 12 darter in the last leg of the game. A tremendous contest between 2 young prospects, and it is Brooks that crosses the line by 4 legs to 3, averaging 95.61. Both players 50% on their doubles. Both players averaging in excess of 90. It was a terrific watch from first dart to last. So Bradley Brooks picks up his first points of the evening. Sebastian Bialecki is looking to double his tally. He takes up Bradley Roes after the break. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. We're 4 games down on this Thursday evening. Bradley Brooks, before the break, got the better of Thomas Banks in a cracking contest 4-3. Both players averaging in excess of 90. Bradley crossing the line with an average of 95.6. 1 4 out of 8 on his doubles and a 12 darter in the last leg of the contest to complete the victory. Our middle match of the night sees 2 European stars go toe-to-toe. As Sebastian Bialecki takes on Bradley Roes. Sebastian got the better of Bradley Brooks by 4-2 in his opening match, whereas Bradley lost by that margin in his opener to Daryl Pilgrim.
Game on.
Sebastian has been in sumptuous form recently, and in matter of fact, hasn't averaged below 90 since Game 3 on Tuesday against Brian Oman. He's in tip-top form at this present moment in time, and for Bradley, you feel like he's going to have to bring his numbers and bring his game up if he's to compete with Seb in this one.
60.
Yeah, I think he has, but let's not forget that was his first game playing against the guy who's looking absolutely mustard in the group, in Daryl Pilgrim.
100.
So now he feels like he's in the tournament. Like I say, that number 5 spot is very difficult. And then you look at other spots. Bradley Brooks is playing game 2, 4, 6, and 8. He goes on, off, on, off. So that's a difficult spot to play as well. Particularly if you lose a couple of games on the trot, it's very difficult to motivate yourself to come back and win games. So, you know, there are strange positions all across the board.
40.
Thomas Banks plays 1, 4, 7 and last, so he's got more spaces between games. It's
134. Sebastian,
you don't get a choice in where you go in this group. You're drawn into where you're drawn in, and which is always the fairest way. But yeah, each different position has a different line of thought as a player. Or the best thing to do is just not overthink anything.
81.
And when the players' marshal comes and gets you out of the players' room, get up there and get on with it.
Do you think that can sometimes be a case, that players overthink where they are in the schedule?
140.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I do on Group B. I know where I want to be and where I don't want to be. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't want to be in a place, that's where you are. So
Game on the
you
first
can
leg.
overthink it.
Sebastian Bialecki.
Well, no overthinking that for Seb. A 14 darter to take the opening leg on throw.
It's Bradley to
And I suppose
first.
when you think about other tournaments, you don't get a set schedule. You've got a rough plan as to how long a tournament's going to take, but if you're on a board, you may have one which runs very quickly because there's a lot of 4, 5 nils, or you could have a lot of 4 3s, 5 4s, and you could be a bit later. And I suppose there's no real difference towards a tournament, say like the British Open, the English Open, a Challenge Tour compared to this in terms of you playing multiple matches in a day. But I suppose the difference is here, you know there's a set schedule, whereas maybe in another tournament it's not quite the same case. But actually the fundamentals are pretty much the same.
Yeah, they are. No, that's well put.
60.
Again, it's all down to personal preference. But yeah, you're right. The fundamentals are the same, and whatever you get dealt, they're the cards you're dealt. And so everybody looks at your results, and they don't think about what position you were in and when you started a leg, when you didn't start a leg. So yeah, effectively, you just got to get on with it.
58.
And the good thing about dart players is they'll never moan about it.
140.
May have poked a hornet's nest there.
Yeah, I'm not answering that. Otherwise, we'll go down to what commentators like and don't like, and what presenters like and don't like.
120.
I know what the galley would like. Me to shut up. 161 for Seb. Not to be. He's already had a 145 and a 170 this evening, because the poll.
58. Bradley, you require 158.
And we've seen this missed on double 19 by Bradley Brooks earlier, but could Bradley Roes find it? Not this time.
98. Sebastian, you require 103.
His third ton plus check out of the evening if this goes. He was looking for treble 20 there to leave himself a dart to double 12. He is going to
71.
recover, leave himself on
Bradley
32.
required 60.
But this for a level match. Double top for Bradley Roes.
Dosey does along the hockey to find the space. Nice marker.
20.
Not to be this time.
Sebastian, you require 32.
Could find himself in some problems here, Roos, if he loses
Game
this.
on the second leg.
I know
Sebastian
it's Bialecki now on
Bialecki.
throw, and
Third leg, it's Sebastian
running.
to throw first. Game on.
100.2 on the average front. To Bradley Roos' 85. I feel the Roos has got to put the hammer down.
Well, in old
41.
money, Sebastian Bialecki is averaging 15 darts per leg, which is probably what you come to expect of Seb in terms of standard. If you don't get out in 15 against him, you're probably not going to win the leg.
140.
That
59.
breaker throw allows Seb to really stretch his legs in this match.
$100.
Bradley himself averaging 91. He's not playing bad at all in this contest. There's one thing we saw from Seb in his match against Bradley, where actually if you look at the game from a numerical point of view, there
140.
wasn't really much to separate the pair. But the divine difference was those 2 ton plus checkouts that he got. His timing at points tonight has been absolutely impeccable.
$42.
And now he's got an opportunity to really stretch this lead further. 6 darts on 2-6-1 for a 3-0 lead.
121. $59. Sebastian, you require 140.
For 3-0. And it would have been his third real big check out this evening. All about leaving a hand. He'd love to leave himself on tops.
60.
But the clip off the
Bradley
barrel
require
means that it's only 80
160.
if he comes back.
It's been one of those sorts of nights, hasn't it? Well, that's unlucky.
100. Sebastian, you require 80. Game show on the third leg. Sebastian Bialecki.
Tidily done from Bialecki. 3
Fourth leg, it's Bradley to
4
throw
on his
first.
double, 75%. 93.94 on the average, and that makes you very difficult to beat.
And we go back to
93.
his average stat because he's averaging 93, 94 here. He would continue this excellent run of games where he's averaged in excess of 90. If he was to
100.
stay above that mark here, be the 9th consecutive game where he has averaged 90 or more since averaging 88 in a game against
180.
Brian Roman on Tuesday. That was his 3rd match of the session.
$140.
May have to wait a leg longer to get the win, though. Bradley has left himself in a decent position in this leg. But a
58.
troublous visit there. Yes, has left himself on the fish, but has opened up the door here for Bialecki to leave it handier than his opponent, to leave himself in a better position to eventually go on and win the game.
91. Bradley require 107.
Both on the fish after 9, but it's Bradley with first poke. He could win here, Sebastian Bialecki, back-to-back matches
90.
by hitting 170
Sebastian
checkouts.
require 170.
Another. Would have left the bullseye to have done it again.
98.
So
Bradley
Roes
require
comes back for 80 and must hit chance. Difficult to avoid that first one. Does it? Goes across to the right again. Yeah,
And
lovely
shoulder
done.
full flag. Bradley Roes.
He's happy with that.
Fifth flag, it's Sebastian to throw first.
Just the scoreline he's not
Game
happy
on.
with at 3-1. But like you say, he has good character. Just Bradley Roes.
100.
Well, this is the leg, isn't it? This is the one where Sebastian has the darts. He's going to get a guarantee of 2
100.
opportunities of throwing for the match, but Sebastian will not want the second one because it means that we would have headed all the way to a deciding leg.
$180.
Seb's first maximum of the game. His average goes in excess of a ton. And whilst you've got opportunities, Scott, the combined age on this Oki is 41.
140.
Lovely. I think this is the way that the game is going. It is a younger person's game. There is so much money in the game now that people are seeing it as a
57.
proper career. Where 10 years ago, people didn't see darts as a career.
$91. Sebastian
Ruth leaves
require
himself on the fish.
164.
Bialecki looking at 164 to wrap it up. Not to beat. Just going to try and leave himself in as handy a spot as possible.
Yeah, to try and pressure this
60.
170.
Bradley, you require 170.
Bradley Roes and treble 20 is the target. Not to be on this occasion. He'll be looking now for 134. Now he's just looking to chase that ton.
60. Sebastian,
It's not
you
there
require
for him.
104.
Bialecki on 104. He needs to do, I think that's a single 18, so 86 left. He'll be looking for a treble 18, or is he going to come out and go somewhere different? No, he's gone somewhere different. And you can
37.
understand that decision when
Bradley, you
he's
require
feeling he may only
110.
get one chance at it. You just want to dart at an open double, don't you? And too much danger sort of flitting again with the 18. So it's 32 then.
94.
Not to be
Sebastian,
this
you
time for
require
Roos. And if he had
47.
hit that, it would have been Bradley's throw next leg. But ifs and ands and pots and pans, it's double 16. Now double 8 for Bolt.
31.
And he's pulled it just wide. And Roos
Bradley
now comes
require
with a likely
60.
chance to come back and go for the double 8. He composes himself. He'll take his time and walk in, focus on the target that he's aiming at. Bit of a ghost throw. Release the tension in the arm.
Game
And
shot on
nicely
fifth
done.
leg. Bradley Roes.
Nicely done, young man. And now he goes and takes a sip of
Sixth leg,
water.
it's Bradley to throw first.
Now he has the throw.
Game on.
If he can hold in 15 here, the whole likelihood is that it'll be 3-3. If he doesn't hold in 15, then he's going to have to beware, because I think Bialecki will be right up behind him, and these darts
41.
are not frightening anybody. 2 loose ones to start.
How many times do we see a player gets a break of throw and then that first visit on throw in the next leg doesn't really punish the scorers?
58.
He's got away with one there. He now needs to start hitting the lipstick.
Just like that.
Indeed, just like that.
100.
But this is no laughing matter. Serious business here at the Global Championship. 25 grand going to the winner a week Sunday.
58.
Once again, an on-treble visit from Bialecki opens the door. That's a poor dart from Roes. He needs to be above the treble, recovering nicely.
96.
But he can only get those single dart treble. Single treble visits are not what you want, because you know a double treble visit will be round the corner from your opponent.
60.
Not to be again. That's 3 on the trot. Non-treble visits from Bialecki, and you feel a ton here would put Roes right in the driving seat in this leg. Moved across nicely.
100.
There never seems to be any panic on Bradley Roos's face. Calm temperament.
Well, now the question goes the other way. Now the question
85.
gets asked of Seb. He led 3-1, and it's a lead
Bradley
that may well
required
evaporate in a few
164.
moments' time.
And my attitude here is 100's enough again. Set back on 240. You've just got to turn that corner and get under 100. I'd be telling myself 100 is fine here. 100 is fine. 140 would be dreamland.
100.
But 100 is fine. And then if a 180 comes in now, you've nothing to fear, because you're still going to get a dart at a double. It's like I've played this game before, isn't it? So the 180 comes in as predicted, because he'd hit nothing all leg. So you knew that a 3 treble visit was coming.
And now suddenly the pressure moves on to the shoulders of Bradley Roes, because there's 64 to level the game up, and if he doesn't take, Sebastian should get a couple of match darts at tops. 1 dart to save this game at double 16, and he finds it, coming up clutch when it mattered the most. And we go all the way in our 5th match of the evening. Sebastian Bialecki had led by 3 legs to 1. He's seen that lead evaporate. He throws first in the final leg, but he throws first with his opponent tapping him on the shoulder.
That's why I said a ton was enough for the 164 to leave 64.
60.
Because you give yourself a fairly simple dart to get a go at the double. That's all you want, to back yourself and get 1 dart at it. And when you've got the 16 and 8s right next door to one another and you're sat on 64,
60.
even if you've got a nervy dart, you're going to leave a dart at a double. You're not going to make the mistake of hitting the 16 underneath, which if you watch Bradley, he hit the 16 right in the middle on the 8 and the 16 dividing wire. He left it to no temptation to be able to miss the 16. Clever stuff from a wise young man.
He's just seen his opponent hit 2 trebles. Has to follow up in kind. They may well be exactly identical after 6 darts.
Yeah, nicely done. And the momentum, you have to say here, should be with Bradley Roes, but the only way you can get knocked off of the momentum is by keep smacking that treble 20, and that's exactly what Bialecki is doing. And as you said earlier, mate, he hasn't dropped under that 90 for so long now. The confidence is flying. Treble 20 with this last
96.
visit. Not quite to be, but neither on a finish, so surely Bialecki is in the same boat here. 100 would be enough.
60.
He doesn't quite achieve that, so 100 here from Roes is enough to pressure Bialecki on 116. At 140, really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Sebastian, you require 116.
Both players on ton plus finishes after 12. It's Bialecki with first go. He was 3-1 up in this contest. He was dragged back to a last leg decider. He's not going to get a match start here.
60.
But he leaves himself in a position where he should get 2 if Bradley doesn't take out this 110 to complete the turnaround, to complete the comeback. Not to be. And so Sebastian Bialecki to eventually get over the line and to eventually make it 2 wins from 2 at the beginning of the evening. He's going to get 2 darts at tops. Two match darts that are come and gone.
Bradley, you require 56.
Once again, takes his time. Right smack bang centre of the 16. Focuses on the double top. 1 dart left for double 10.
36.
And blew his chance, and he knows it.
Sebastian,
When the door opened, it shut in his face again. And Sebastian Bialecki has been given an almighty reprieve. This for his 2nd win. This to put him on 4 points. Bradley paces up and down the stage. He knows the opportunity may have gone. Double 10, 1 left in hand. Bradley Roes cannot look.
20.
But he's going to get another go because Sebastian Bialecki has missed a handful of match darts.
Bradley, you require 20.
And an opportunity that Bradley Roes did not expect. It's time to back yourself, young man.
Well, Seb said it was a whip for a while away. Such are the margins. But it's 1 left in hand, a double 4.
12.
And now both players have blown a handful of match darts.
Sebastian,
There is
you
nothing more
require
frustrating than
20.
giving yourself opportunity and missing as a dart player.
As shown there. Bradley Roes is combusting at the back of the stage. Sebastian Bialecki is composing himself ahead of 3 more match darts at double 10. And this time he finds both players missed numerous match darts in that contest, but it's Sebastian Bialecki who crawls over the finishing line. He gets the better of Bradley Roes by 4 legs to 3. 2 wins from 2 tonight, but that one was heavy weather for the pole. And so Bradley, well, he has got a lot of work to do towards the end of the session. 0 points from his opening 2 matches, but maximum points for Sebastian Bialecki, who has beaten Bradley Roes by 4 legs to 3. Coming up after the break, Daryl Pilgrim against Bradley Brooks. This game could be fireworks. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship, where we are 5 games down on this Thursday evening. And it's an evening which has been dominated by Sebastian Bialecki and Daryl Pilgrim. These two have been pulled apart for the rest of the field. Daryl averaging 99 and 98 in his 2 matches so far. He's been the dominant force. Sebastian Bialecki winning 2 matches, but winning 2 tight matches to join Daryl on 4 points. So that's what we've seen so far in week 1. This is the first of 2 weeks here at the ADC Global Championship. The winner will be crowned a week Sunday, but before that, we need to see 6 days worth of action in week 2.
Double 12. What a shot! What a way to finish the session!
With a big finish. And there it is. Delightful dance.
You might want to stay in your seats.
And it all builds up to that date, December the 22nd. It's a Sunday afternoon, but before that, we've got 6 days worth of action. Group A sees Adam Mould, Gary Stone, James Worthing, the former Super Series champion, Marvin van Velzen, Donny Schervater, and Evan Poulsen in action. Group B sees John Desimo, the Killer Bee, on the stage, alongside Joe Croft and Charlie Martin. Group C sees the Australian qualifier James Bailey, Devon Peterson representing South Africa, and Shane Hayward representing Wales. That all kicks off Monday morning from 9:30 with myself and yours truly, Scott Mitchell, in the commentary box. And we're having a look at Game 6 of our evening session here as Bradley Brooks and Daryl Pilgrim lock horns. And it's fair to say that so far tonight, Mr. P has been at his absolute irresistible best.
Yeah, he sure has. He's doing everything that we expected him to do, and he's doing everything that his odds ratings are expecting him to do as well.
First leg, it's Daryl to throw first.
They have him down as the
Game
favourite
on.
for the 2 weeks, and they have him down as favourite to pick up the trophy a week on Sunday.
32.
And thus far, he's doing nothing but tell everybody else that he's thinking the same.
60.
How do you assess Bradley's night so far? Timing went a little bit against him, his match against Seb, but was involved in an absolute corker in his second encounter against Thomas Banks.
31.
Yeah, his opening game was an 88-9-6, and Seb had a 90, which is what we've come to expect from Seb. So that was always going to be a difficult one. But when he didn't have the darts against Thomas Banks, and Thomas was throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him, Thomas doing a 92-1-3, beating him 4-3 against the darts was pivotal, and he had a 95 average there. It's may have been the blue touch paper to light Bradley Brooks' night up.
100.
Say all the players would have been looking for 2 wins tonight, so that they're not out of the equation come tomorrow evening, and then back themselves tomorrow evening. But Pilgrim's got 2 wins on the board, and he's now looking for 3.
180.
And he's looking in tremendous nick. And these may well be the breadcrumb opportunities that Bradley Brooks gets in this game. They may well be the breadcrumb opportunities he has to get. The 161 doesn't go. Pilgrim looking at 78 to take the opening leg of this contest. He's going to get 2 in his hand at double 12. And yeah, that's game shot. A 15 darter for Daryl Pilgrim. He's 1-0 up.
Second leg, it's Bradley to throw.
5 180s for Pilgrim so far tonight, in 2 games and 1 leg. So his scoring is right on point, and I feel if anybody's going to get near him, it'll be more Daryl falling off his scoring game, or somebody going absolute toe-to-toe with him, but we know that he's got levels for the records that he sets here. If you go toe-to-toe to him, he just keeps going through the gears.
What is it like when you're playing the type of darts that Daryl Pilgrim's playing right now? As a player, how do you feel? You must have that feeling of, I can't be beaten, or if someone's going to beat me, they're going to have to play very well to beat me.
Yeah, the treble 20 feels like a barn door that you can't miss it. It really does. You look at it and the size of it expands and you just think, oh, the happy days, this is what I want. And then the doubles, they feel even bigger. When it starts to go wrong, you start having to squint to look at the doubles because they narrow up and, yeah, you start to think all silly thoughts in your head and it goes all squirrely. But at the moment,
140.
it's going more than right for him, and they're just best mate. You just got to enjoy those days where it feels like that.
$61.
That was a 5-visit leg for Daryl Pilgrim to win leg 1. Brooks has left himself on tops after 12 to take the second leg of this contest.
74. Bradley require 40.
This has been high quality so far.
Game shot.
And that's a 13 darter for Bradley Brooks to square the game up at 1 apiece.
When
you get two players that see the trebles and the doubles the size of a barn door, as commentators, you just can't spake.
96.
Well, this really is high quality. Bradley averaging 112, Daryl 97 after the opening couple of legs of this contest.
134.
And don't you love it when fire is fought with fire? And that's exactly what's happening in this contest so far. You'd say these are probably the two best power scorers in this group. Definitely the two best maximum hitters in this group. It takes two to tango in a good contest.
57.
And you need a good dance partner. And at the moment, these two are providing exactly that. He's not missing that.
We don't want any dirty dancing up there. Keep it clean, lads.
Well, this is dirty darting from Daryl Pilgrim.
$100. Daryl, you require 45.
For a potential 11 darter. This leg is getting better in multiples of 2. 15 darter for leg 1, 13 darter for leg 2, an 11 darter there. Do you know what that means? There's going to be a 9 darter in this leg. Both players averaging 108 so far. And if that's going to happen, it's going to have to happen by Daryl Pilgrim. And he has done it on this stage before.
140.
Did so in defeat to Scott Taylor back in August 2023. And my stupid logic renders irrelevant.
58.
Well, at least I didn't need to tell you. You worked it out yourself. Brooks back into this here. I'll tell you, oh, this is just a lovely, lovely game, isn't it?
And if you look further down the line, because obviously it's 4 spots through to the finals day on Sunday, there'd be absolutely no surprise at all if these two contested the final over best of 17 come a week Sunday. And if they play like this, you hope that this is the type of game that will grace the longer format finale.
$140.
6 starts, 4 level game. Really has been an enjoyable watch, this game.
93.
Yeah, nice, calmly controlled last start. It would have been easy for him to panic there, not having it a treble for the first 2. But he just stayed composed and...
97. Bradley, you require 36. Game shot on the 4th.
Bradley Brooks' second 13 darter of the game to level it up at 2-2. Averaging 110. Pilgrim 103. It's the best game we've seen at these championships so far.
15, 13, 11, 13.
57.
It's TV darts.
Here on Pluto TV, which you haven't made the transition over yet. If you're based in the UK and other territories which has Pluto TV,
81.
then you're going to have to make the transition quick. It's downloadable to your TV or smart device. Stream now, pay never.
Yeah, be smart and put it on your smart device.
96.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week of dynamic darts content. No adverts interrupting the darts. I know there's been a few of you.
43.
I know there's been a few of you in the YouTube chat room that have been moaning, oh no, why have we got adverts while someone's going for a match winning double? We don't have that on Pluto TV.
80.
No, we don't do we, Henry.
140.
Well, Pilgrim here, 6 starts to re-establish his lead at 3-2.
98.
Despite the brilliance of this contest, at no point has Daryl Pilgrim been behind. But what he has done by only hitting a 98 has just somewhat opened up the door. And unless Pilgrim
107.
hits the second big fish of the night and the second hit against Bradley Brooks, he may find himself a breakdown.
Timing from Bradley
60.
Brooks.
Bradley, you require 57.
It's coming to 5 minutes to midnight. And the timing of this couldn't have been better.
Game
The timing
from
of
the
this
fifth
could not have been
Bradley
better.
Brooks.
Bradley Brooks, what a time for a 14 dart
it's Bradley
break
to
of throw.
first. Game on.
Well, have a look at them for numbers. Not a leg has gone beyond 5-visit territory. The worst leg of 15 darters so far.
134.
Into leg 6, and a leg that if Bradley Brooks can hold his throw, he's home and hosed in the best game of the inaugural ADC Global Championship so far.
93.
Of that, there is absolutely no shadow of a doubt. I'm sure it's a game that we will be reliving and rewatching for many a time to come. And if Bradley Brooks wins it from this position,
140.
I'm sure he'll be watching this game forever and a day. Daryl Pilgrim's done next to nothing wrong. He's at 3-1-8. He's missed 1 dart at a double and he's averaging 97. He's just been blitzed by the brilliance of Bradley Brooks, who's got 6 darts from here to move himself onto 4 points and for there to be a 3-way tie at the top.
91.
You won't surprise Pilgrim here. Don't forget he has an 118 highest losing average here. So nothing will surprise Pilgrim.
However, this may well have the air of the previous leg where a player hit a maximum with their opponent on a big finish and it swayed the outcome of it. But this is for the match and for 4-2 victory. And it would have been to have capped off an incredible performance in incredible style. He's going to leave himself on a double after 12. This to save it for Daryl Pilgrim. It doesn't go. The anguish is there to see because Daryl Pilgrim does not expect to come back. Bradley Brooks to wrap it up. Double 16. 2 8s. An electrifying performance from Bam Bam Bradley Brooks. An average of 109.12 to demolish Daryl Pilgrim by 4 legs to 2 in the game of the championship so far. The first match this week where both players have averaged in excess of a ton, and it is won by Bradley Brooks with brilliance in both his power scoring and excellence in terms of his finishing. He gets the better of Daryl Pilgrim 4-2. Coming up after the break, Thomas Banks up against Sebastian Bialecki. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship, where we saw the best game of the tournament before the break of that, no doubt. Bradley Brooks getting the better of Daryl Pilgrim, both players averaging in excess of a ton. We'll talk about the excellent Bradley Brooks' performance in a second, but Daryl Pilgrim hit 4-180s, averaged 101.84, and it was only good enough for 2 legs in that contest. Brooks winning with a tournament high average of 109.12, hit 2 maximums in there, 4 from 5 on his doubles, and he is on 4 points alongside Sebastian Bialecki, who's in action here against Thomas Banks, who is still searching for his first victory. Seb's timing was bang on point against Bradley in his first game, but then crawled over the line against Bradley Brooks, where he'd spurned a 3-1 lead in the game before eventually winning in a last leg decider up against Thomas Banks, who himself has had a bit of a run-in with Bradley this evening. Averaged 92.13 and lost out in a last leg decider to Bam Bam.
180.
After a slow start, it looks like Thomas really is beginning to build this evening.
125. $100. $96. Thomas, you're 124.
124 for Thomas to take out the first leg. Not going to be done on this occasion. And so Bialecki returning for the 140 to
That's the only require 140.
snatch the opening leg from the grasp of Thomas Banks.
Their games all week have had legs in them. 4-3, 4-2, 4-2 have been the results of them. In favour of Thomas Banks, he's 2-1 up.
On the first leg, Thomas Banks
Starts this one nicely. Bialecki won't be
Second
too
leg, it's
worried. He
Sebastian
now
to
has the
first.
darts, but
game on.
he knows that he's got to break Thomas at some point if he's to win this match.
140.
Get the sense this is a crucial game in terms of plotting where the league table will lie. Thomas loses this, he is in big trouble. However, if he does, then he'll see a
85.
glimmer of light in front of him ahead of his final game of the evening session.
134.
And he's going about his business beautifully here. constantly peppering 2 treble turns after 2 treble turns is the Bulldog. But the problem he's got is Sebastian Bialecki is doing something similar.
But you don't worry about it. If you've got your range as a player, you don't worry about it.
85.
You back yourself to keep going with them.
136.
Through the second dart, a bit rushed there for me. Whereas Bialecki is a little bit more measured. 16 will leave double top, and it's now down to Thomas Banks to try and get a dart at this 142. Not going to be. Chances are, had he hit the first treble 20, he'd have stayed there and backed himself to hit double 11, because he'd have been thinking that he was only going to get 1 dart at it. So you don't matter which double it is, you've got to get a dart at 1. And that's exactly what would have happened. Bialecki levels the match up.
That gets Thomas to throw first. Game on.
13 darts. These guys are really beginning to give us a show.
140.
Here in Group B.
Well, we really did expect a special night here at the Live Lounge, and a special night we're getting. We got treated to one of the best games that we've seen on that stage before the break. And these two
100
are giving us numbers to salivate over as well. I know it's only leg 3, but Thomas Banks is averaging 114 and rising, while Sebastian Bialecki is averaging 104.68.
It makes me feel I'm getting closer to retirement day by day. That's what it makes me feel.
54.
Super stuff from these guys.
It's much more fun watching in the commentary box, Scott, isn't it, than being stood behind it?
I don't know. It is quite good being up close and personal, when being stood right there and watching it from close by. You're thinking, wow, am I actually seeing this? It's just, yeah, it's one of those crazy things when you're watching it, but this is just so good. And it's nice to be able to talk about it as well. Unfortunately, when you're stood behind somebody, you can't tell them how good you think they're, or how well you think they're playing. You can just nod your head because you don't want to do anything to try and put them off.
I think the phrase that we spoke about at the beginning of the evening was knocking lumps out of one another, and that is exactly what they're doing right here, right now.
99. Thomas Shabak 92.
Backed himself for the treble 20. Double 12 now after hitting the treble 16. He looks over his shoulder just to have a look and see what Bialecki's on. And I have to say, that tells me that Thomas Banks is not looking at what his opponent is doing. Nicely done, Thomas. Holds his own darts again. 16 darts. This leg.
Fourth leg, it's Sebastian to throw first.
Really has got the bit between the teeth tonight, hasn't he? And really up for this. We didn't quite see him so bouncy, did we, in Group A?
45.
I suppose as well there's a bit more sense of urgency because it's the second group of the week. It's that last chance saloon. You don't do well in Group A, you have got that second crack at getting it right, whereas now, for both of these players, they've got a second opportunity, but it's their last chance to prove themselves. I suppose it does add that extra air of edge to proceedings. And Thomas seems to be a player that performs at his best when something tangible is on the line.
134.
The best bit about this, Scott, is we get to do it all again tomorrow night.
96.
This has been an absolute treat.
180.
It really has. Banks fires in his second 180 in leg 4. Oh, here comes Seb's first. It couldn't not be. Could not be. The rhythm of the throw, just amazing. Double top. Oh, Thomas Banks, welcome to the party. Where have you been this week, the Bulldog? Where have you been?
Game on.
I like this flamboyancy about him. I like the rawness about him. I like to see him playing like this. A little bit quicker.
38.
Sebastian Bialecki left himself on tops after 12, on throw, and he didn't even get a look in. 106 and a ton, the two averages in this game.
104.
This game, this match, just as good as what we saw previously. This really has been a blockbuster night of action here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And maybe this is the night where the inaugural ADC Global Championship heads into overdrive. Maybe this is the night where the tournament comes alive.
100.
25 grand at stake for the winner. And these two playing with a sense that this could well be one of the biggest fortnights of their lives.
Just looking at crazy numbers on the averages again, aren't we? It's hard to want to chat.
60.
You don't want to miss anything by talking over anything.
164.
To save it. Not to be. And so Thomas Banks comes back for 150 to round off
60.
what has been an incredible display. Probably his best performance on this stage. But he's going to need more time if he is to complete
64.
the job.
Sebastian require 104.
He may need another leg. Well, it's not the worst slip in the world.
That one is. Really didn't want that one.
28. Thomas require 86.
For the ball.
It'd be 86. He's got to go that way. He hit the 42 in his last visit.
34.
It's all got a bit messy, hasn't it? The tail end here of leg 5. Really needs this.
Game
and
shown
gets
the
it.
fifth leg. Sebastian Bialecki. Sixth leg, it's Sebastian to
When
throw
he
first.
had that 86, Thomas, he had to make sure that he hit a single 18. You cannot go gung-ho straight at it in that situation. You've got to make sure of the big number. It's paramount. It's the law. It's in darts law. You've got to hit that single 18 to get yourself a dart or something to win the match.
And in the court of darting law, Thomas Banks can be found guilty, guilty, guilty.
But that would be harsh from a commentator that doesn't even throw a dart and wouldn't even play last night at the Christmas party.
100.
Dear, dear, dear. One leg blind drawn pairs was scary enough for you last night.
Well, no, I've spent 11 months looking at a screen, and I'll be perfectly honest, the last thing I wanted to do at Christmas was then throw darts.
Personal preference, we're not interested. Right, back to the game.
127. Sebastian require 161.
Well, Sebastian had to survive a 3-1 comeback from Bradley Roes in his last game. It's he who's 3-1 down here and looking to enforce a last leg decider, and he's left double 12 after 12 to do exactly that.
He has, and since that little bit of indifference at the end
game shown the sixth flag
of last leg, Thomas hasn't lost his way a bit. He's still got 100, 127.
Seventh and final leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Now got to sort this out and get a good start.
60.
He's all over it and close, but no cigar. Bialecki now looking to hit a
60.
treble, and he doesn't either. That's the adrenaline, that is, when it stays above.
From the excellence comes the nerves of a last leg decider. An all-important last leg decider for different reasons for this pair. For Thomas Banks is to get his first points on the board and to keep himself in with a real good shout going into his final game of the evening. For Sebastian Bialecki, a victory here sets himself up nicely for his final match.
57.
Just not quite getting that first start right in this last leg is Thomas Banks. Got to get that first one above the treble. Otherwise, you offer opportunities to be caught.
140.
So now he's got to get that first one nice and high. It's just
59.
not quite happening for him this leg, and you can see the frustration.
$82.
Big last start. Leaves himself on a manageable finish. But how's Thomas Banks going to leave this? Needs another treble. He wants to leave himself on a 2-darter. And that is exactly what he's done.
Sebastian, you
Yeah,
require
nicely done,
122.
Thomas. So it's bullseye then for the match for Bialecki.
97. Thomas, you require
So
92.
one dart comes and goes. Thomas is backing himself to hit the treble 20. Double 16 for double top. Oh, it would have been a
72.
showman finish, wouldn't it?
Sebastian, you require 25.
From the flashy to the gritty. Double 8 for Sebastian Bialecki. Double 4. Doesn't go.
17.
Now, I believe what caused him the problem there was he only
Thomas,
just
you
hit the
require
9.
20.
The big 9, he was right on the wire, wasn't he?
Game shot
And I think we've just seen what that meant to Thomas Banks, and he deserves a win tonight. He had a tight 4-3 with Bradley Brooks, but he manages to convert this one against Seb Bialecki. The average suffered a little towards the end there, but what a great game it was to watch. 93.89 for Thomas Banks. Both players running 100 for 90% of that game. Bialecki, well, he does his 96. That's what he's been doing. Look at the checkouts, 50% on both sides. And it just goes to show there was nothing in that match. We're going to head into a short break, but don't leave us. We've got more of this to come with Bradley Brooks and Bradley Roes coming next.
There is the trophy shot. Somebody is going to be lifting that a week Sunday, the inaugural ADC Global Championship. It's Group B this evening, and it's been a Group B which has been one of the very best that we've seen in this building, whether it be in a Global Championship setting or a Super Series setting. And we have 3 players on 4 points tied at the very top. Daryl Pilgrim, Sebastian, Bialecki and Bradley Brooks all on that mark. But it's Thomas Banks who's making a march. He won his first game before the break, beating Nepal in a last leg decider. Bradley Roes is the only player not to get off the mark. Game 8 of our evening session is a tungsten tongue twister as Bradley Brooks takes on Bradley Roes. Me and Scott Mitchell, over the course of this best of 7-leg match, will do our utmost to try and not confuse one with the other. However, it could be a little bit more difficult than one may seem. However, what has not been very close to one another has been the form of both players so far. Bradley Brooks has been scintillating at times. He's won 2 of his 3 matches and carded an average of 109.12 to the pose of Daryl Pilgrim in his previous match. For Bradley, he's the only player yet to get off the mark. 4-2 and 4-3 defeats to each of the top 2 players in the group. His third match is against the player third in the league standings. It's Bam Bam who throws first in our 8th game of the evening session. And what a night. What a night we have seen.
Yeah, we sure have.
134.
That last game between Bradley and Daryl.
140.
Probably one of the best games we've ever seen here combined. And we've had some absolute corkers.
Well, it's the best game we've seen in the ADC Global Challenge or Championship. Up to now, that's for sure. I have to hand it to these men. They are giving us, and they're young men as well.
58.
They are giving us entertainment personified. And I've never been to a development tour, but these are the games they're telling me that you see week in, week out when there's one on.
78.
And this is where going forward things will change just slightly for Bradley Brooks, because he turned 24 back in February. He's ineligible for the Dev Tour going the beginning of next year. So he's going to have to play his trade in a different type of way in 2025. I know his intention is to play the full ADC circuit once again, but he has got a couple more free weekends because he can't play in the development tour.
170. $56. Bradley required 55.
On those weekends, he'll be hoping that he's doing other things. On that weekend, those weekends, he'll be hoping he's doing other things in other places.
Game shot on the first leg. Bradley Brooks.
Nice little 14 dart start, just carrying on as he did do in his game against Daryl.
Second leg, it's Bradley Roes to throw first. Game on. $60.
It's always tough when you come back after doing 109.12 and you expect yourself to do it again. You expect to be in the groove, but it doesn't kind of happen like that all the time. It's very difficult to keep playing at that level and expecting yourself to do it time after time.
134.
Playing like a dream. Bradley plays 2 of the last 3 games this evening. He will conclude the night's programme with a match against Thomas Banks. Sandwich in the middle of that. Sebastian Bialecki and Daryl Pilgrim. A guarantee of 1 player getting to 6 points. Bradley wins this. He'll end his night on 6 points.
96.
Brooks is done after this match for the evening. He's done all he can do. Whether he will sit back and wait
93.
and watch the last 2 games, or whether he will disappear off into the night's darkness, who knows? Either way, he will feel
150. Bradley require 140.
if he can convert this one, he's had a good night's work. So Roes for 114. Another one of the almost. That was for a double 19.
56. Bradley
How do you
require
hit the
32.
57? But Bradley books for 2-zip.
Game shot on the second leg. Bradley Brooks.
Nicely done. And 13 dart legs are looking like long legs now, aren't they?
Third leg, it's
Well,
Bradley
how do you
Brooks
follow up
to
an average of
throw first.
109.12? How about 111.33? 14 and a 13. Brooks is 2-0 up. And he is just in a zone right now. He must
60.
feel like everything he's touching is turning to gold, although he won't be overly enamoured by that particular visit.
60.
Now, Bradley averaged 109 in that previous match. It's still a long way off his PB. His highest ever recorded average, 120.24
93.
in a development tour match. Those are the types of numbers that he can really get to, and he's showing glimpses of it here. More than glimpses of it.
Yeah, when you're going out in those sorts of numbers, you don't wear the barrels out on your darts because you're not playing for long enough. Unbelievable stuff.
60. $58.
For Bradley, things could have been so
58.
different in Series 9. In fact, things could have been oh so different for Series 9 whatsoever, because Bradley missed a dart in the Week 1 Series 9 final against Darius Labanauskas.
42.
Laban would go on to win that match, and Laban would go on to win the series. A year of a lot of triumph, but also a year with a couple of near misses. Not that he's missing much in this game. Hasn't missed anything at a double.
140. Bradley record 130.
And he's hardly missing the scoring phases.
Yeah, treble 20 here. We'll leave him the bullseye.
94. Bradley record
Treble 18 nicely found, but as we said earlier, he really has found his mojo since his first game against Sebastian Bialecki. And
58. Bradley required 36. $18.
well, Roes thought that was going.
Required 84.
He is nodding away in the background. He's got to now get himself a dart at something, whether it's the bullseye or 2 at double 12. Double 6.
78. Bradley
It's
required
been the story
80.
of his night. He's had chances, hasn't he?
Splits, but the awkwardness of that single 6 makes this double 6 even more awkward to aim for. He does not like this one bit. Well, that is an
Ace on the
absolute
third
peach
leg.
of a dart.
Bradley
And Bradley Brooks opens up a 3-0 lead.
Full flag, it's Bradley Roes to throw first. Game on.
Looking on somewhat inquisitively is Bam Bam.
Yeah, well, the problem was Bradley Roes hit the top of his darts after missing those doubles so hard. He has had to flatten and straighten the flights back out again to be able to use them. Such was the frustration that set in.
$134. 80. 55.
Definitely two players that would have prepared for tonight's action in different ways. Bradley
100.
Brooks woke up, just gave his hair a bit of a comb over. Whilst Bradley Roes went to the local barber. They said, how much gel do you want? He said, all of it.
100.
Couldn't have been much left in Portsmouth. You had most of it.
136.
That's whatever hair I've got left.
Bradley Roes looking good here. Anything? He
90.
needed a
Ready,
treble.
require 130.
Bradley Brooks to get him down level, but Bradley Roes has got a chance at this 130. All about staying straight. He's given himself a chance. Cross to the treble 18. Oh no, he's gone the bull route.
Ready, require 122.
And there's always the risk of that with the bull route.
Bullseye to cap off what has been a brilliant evening for Bam Bam. But it's not going to have a
97.
showpiece finale.
Bradley requires 73.
Still a bit to do for Bradley Roes.
Game shot on the 4 flag. Bradley Roes. 5th flag, it's Bradley Brooks to throw first. Game on.
A sarcastic celebration to himself from Bradley Roes was met with a nose snarl from Bradley Brooks.
93.
Yeah, I don't think Bam Bam liked that too much, did he?
He's just using it to motivate himself. There's nothing wrong with that.
80.
That's the way the game works. You try to bounce off of anything your opponent will give you.
Remember that game at the PDC World Championship? Kevin
180.
McDine against Michael Van Gerwen. McDine won a set. He mimicked Van Gerwen's celebration. It rattled the cage of the green machine and he fired off 3 straight sets in a row and then blew his opponent
60.
away.
Yeah, more often than not, it happens that way. It doesn't happen the other way.
It looks like Bradley Brooks has seen enough now. He's had enough now.
98.
So Bradley is going to go to the well one more time tonight, and you sense he'll have to beat Thomas Banks
123, Bradley require
in the final game of
130.
the evening. Brooks with time on his hands to eventually get the job done 4-1.
$90.
Yeah, good ball management there from Brooks. Looks like these are going to be Bradley Roes' last throws of this
41.
particular
Bradley
encounter.
require 40.
It's tops to round off a
shot
top
and the
night
match.
for Bradley Brooks.
Bradley Brooks.
Bam Bam has been at his best at points this evening. An average of 109 against Daryl Pilgrim, an average of 94 there. 6 points to his name following the opening evening's play. And he is in such a good position to qualify for Saturday evening's qualification night. He's beaten Bradley Roes by 4 legs to 1. Coming up after the break, Sebastian Bialecki against Daryl Pilgrim. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship, where we've got a couple more matches to go this evening. But Bradley Brooks' night has come to an end, and it's come to an end with him getting 6 points to his name. He lost his opening match 4-2 to Sebastian Bialecki, but he's won his last 3. He's the man at the top of the pile, and the way he's been playing may well be the man to beat in this group. Daryl Pilgrim and Sebastian Bialecki play their final match of the night now. The winner will also move on to 6 points alongside Bam Bam. Daryl, who's played incredibly well all night long. His lowest average so far this evening is 98.56. He hit 4,180. His average just under 102 against Bradley Brooks last time out. And that was only good enough for a couple of legs. That is how well Mr. P's been playing up against Bialecki, for whom won his first couple of games. It was a nervy one against Bradley Roes, a good performance against Bradley, and ironically his best performance of the night, just like Daryl, came in a losing effort last time out against Thomas Banks. There's very much a feeling here, Scott, that this game could be another one of those humdingers that we've been treated to on more than one occasion tonight.
To throw first. Game
yeah,
on.
could agree with that. There's both players are very similar in pace. They're not quite that quick pace. But they're a pace that both will enjoy of each other.
$96. $100. $40.
Well, it's the penultimate game of this evening, but we'll be back with a double session and a double helping for you tomorrow. We'll be back with you from 1 o'clock and 10 o'clock here on Pluto TV. And don't forget our qualifying night on Saturday, which kickstarts at 7:30 p.m. And unlike a normal Modus Super Series week, 4 players on the 6 will qualify for finals day. We'll still have our normal finals night Super Series format, so we will get a winner from the evening. They'll get a bonus prize, but not just that, they'll get a better seeding in the draw
100.
for the quarterfinals of week Sunday. Which, to mark your card, will be a 1:30 start.
57. Sebastian.
Quarterfinals followed by semi-finals, all the way through to a final, and a winner will be crowned. Then we'll pick up the cheque for £25,000. It could be this man here, who's looking for a third ton plus finish of the night, but he wires a double 16 for the 105.
Yeah, what a tasty Christmas present that would be. 25 smackaroonies going into your bank account a couple of days before Christmas.
Sebastian requires 16.
Better than a lump of coal.
Well, some would prefer a lump of coal if you're cold.
No score. Daryl require 150.
So a big opportunity here for Pilgrim. Oh, yes.
140.
Oh, not quite.
Sebastian, you require 16.
He's won a week with that finish in the past by going that exact same way. Bialecki, this time with no mistake on double 8 to take the opening leg of this contest. And Pilgrim races back to the hockey, wanting to kickstart leg 2 and atone for the errors of leg 1.
57. $96.
Well, we were expecting a bit of a barn burner here, but that was a slow sort of 19-dart leg as an opener.
134.
Is the fatigue starting to set in at this hour of the evening?
It's also been one of those nights where every single player's had to work hard for everything they've got. No one's had a game where they've just really been able to coast. They've had to go foot to the throttle right from the get-go.
140.
Yeah, they have, and I hope our viewers on the free-to-view Pluto TV are enjoying this evening's proceedings. 24, 7, darts channel. Unheard of, but it's there now.
60.
Yeah, me and Scott were filming some extra content for the channel earlier on this evening, which will be available in due course. Plenty happening around the darts. It's not just the live darts you get to enjoy. Plenty of other features and series for you to enjoy. Is Pilgrim going to enjoy this? 110 isn't going to go. So Bialecki's got to break charts here on 42 to open up a 2-0 lead and to have Cruz control of the contest.
Game shot on the second leg. Sebastian
Bialecki
Bialecki.
being as ruthless as he was yesterday.
Third leg,
It's
it's
5 out of
Sebastian
5
to
in
throw
Group A.
first. Game.
Wasn't enough to top the group because Andy Bolton had already done his work in the previous 2 days, and Bialecki now
95.
just under the 90 average, which he's been running every match since Tuesday, third game.
43.
Pilgrim here, his 110 attempt, that first start was a long way high of the treble. And now he's being wayward.
81.
See him in the background there doing a ghost throw or two, trying to loosen the arm up.
Well, that's very much a Croydon thing because his good pal and
130.
playing partner, Cam Crabtree, does exactly the same.
So what you're saying is he copies Cam then?
What, he's a copy Cam, not a
No.
copycat?
You're saying he's copying Cam. You don't know. He's the slightly older player. Cam might have known and seen Daryl do it. Maybe Cam's copying Daryl. You're making assumptions there that just may not be true.
59.
Well, I've been told on good authority that Daryl Pilgrim taught Cam a very good lesson or two, gave him a good old hiding a couple of weeks ago in a practice match.
Games must have taken forever if they were both go throwing.
96.
And they say your games take a while, Scott.
Well, I don't go throw.
There's no time for it.
174.
Now Daryl's awoken from a slumber.
170.
Bialecki looking at the fish. Again.
Yeah, didn't go back at the treble 20 Pilgrim there because he had a wobbly one. So went
44.
over to
Oh, you rack 190.
treble 18 and was successful. Now gives himself to turn this game around at 90. Staying up, safe at the big 20, backing himself on the bullseye.
54. Sebastian, you rack
Nice miss though, if there is such a thing, a good miss. Leaves himself double 18 and now a second stab at the treble. Bullseye for Bialecki.
101. Daryl, you require 36.
That was a coat of paint away. Pilgrim looking at his favourite double.
For a break and a lifeline in this
Game
match
shot the
again.
third leg. Daryl Pilgrim.
It's now Pilgrim on throw. Will that give him a bit of
Fourth leg,
momentum?
it's Daryl to throw first. Game.
Another ghost throw for good measure. And away we go again, and it's worked. Oh boy, has it worked.
180.
There was a real snarl there from Daryl as he delivered that maximum. There may have been a case of the first couple of legs, him just being left a
125.
little bit punch drunk because of what happened in his previous match against Bradley Brooks.
$96.
You could understand if that was the case, but he's really beginning to find his range again here.
Here comes Bialecki, and he's coming back
140.
at him with vengeance. He's going to keep him honest.
$105.
Leaves himself on Shanghai after 9. Bialecki needs a big score. Needs a treble. Gets a treble.
100. Daryl, you require 120.
This is for a level game. Pilgrim was 2-0 down. And that's a perfect guy for the treble. Unable to utilise it.
60. Sebastian, you require 136.
As Bialecki got a fanfare shot up his sleeve. 136 won't go, and so Pilgrim should get a couple here to square this game up at 2
58.
apiece from
Daryl, you
2-0
require
down.
60.
And 2 at tops he'll get.
Game
And
shot the
finds
fourth
it.
leg.
And this game is all square at 2-2.
Fifth leg, it's Sebastian to throw first. Game on.
The opening legs, it was all about Bialecki. Pilgrim there
100.
had a face like giant haystacks taking on Big Daddy on Saturday afternoon on the World of Sport. Real grimace.
I'll Google that later.
Yeah, for those that are young, Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks were wrestlers.
$118.
However, who's going to land the knockout blow in this 9th game of the evening? Talking of nines. Daryl's done it before here.
180.
Sebastian Bialecki missed double 12 on Tuesday for perfection at the Global Championship. Could Daryl Pilgrim provide perfection in Portsmouth? No.
Well teed up though, Henry. But I've got to be honest, I wanted you to hit you myself. Let him throw the first dart. Come on.
95.
Gave you the big build-up, Daryl. Stop disappointing me.
That makes it very interesting.
146.
Big 140 from Sebastian.
Game shot on the 5th leg. Daryl Pilgrim.
So that's the 3rd leg on the bounce for Pilgrim.
6th leg, it's
And
Daryl
now he
to throw
has
first.
the throw to close this out.
180. No. That first dart looked absolutely begging for 2 more to join.
$90.
Been another great game in what's been a great night's worth of action here at the Global Championship. The winner of this game will move on to 6 points in the group alongside Bradley Brooks, who heads the table. Our final match will be between the bottom 2 participants, Thomas Banks and Bradley Roes.
$180.
Brilliant from Seb.
He was unfortunate on the previous visit when he had 2 treble 5s. Another left-handed 180. Seb's getting second wind here. He dominated the first 2 legs. Pilgrim has then rolled off 3 on the trot. Is now Seb coming back and going to make this 3-3? It's looking likely. Daryl needs another treble.
100.
Doesn't quite get it. Millimetres away. But that's the difference in this game some days.
So he starts to win leg 6 for Seb. And he's left himself on 32 after 12. Pilgrim can only set up and hope.
Do you feel this was his opportunity with the darts, Henry? Do you think he's overthought it a little, Pilgrim?
Well, you feel like opportunity missed, particularly how good the last leg was. But Bialecki's still got to get the job done, and that's awkward.
60.
Almost found a way through, but the flicker of the flight saw the final dart of that visit there go on the inside.
It sure did. Treble 19 for bullseye.
101. Sebastian, you require
Just floated below the intended target. So this to give us another last leg decider. Double 4. Final dart, final chance.
12.
And that could be curtains for Bialecki. We don't see much in terms of reaction
25.
from the cool, calm and collected pole. But that is as much as you will see. And that may be all he does see tonight, because
Game
Daryl Pilgrim
shut down
finds
the
double
match.
8 to complete
Daryl
his
Pilgrim.
third victory of the session. He's going to end the opening night's play at the top of the Group B table with some swashbuckling displays. He averaged at least 90 in every single game this year. In fact, he lost a game averaging just under 102, but he's beaten Sebastian Bialecki by 4 legs to 2. And the key difference in this game, missed opportunities at doubles. Bialecki spurning 12 chances at the outer ring throughout the course of this 6-leg contest. Pilgrim swooping in when he had to, 4 for 9 on his doubles. He seals a 4-2 success against the pole, and we now head into our final match of the evening session. It sees Bradley Roes and Thomas Banks go toe-to-toe, 2 young stars going head-to-head after the break. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship, where we have had some night of tungsten here in Portsmouth. Before the break, Daryl Pilgrim ended the night top of the table, amassing 6 points from a possible 8, beating Sebastian Bialecki by 4 legs to 2, averaging 92.06. 3 maximums in there. 4 for 9 on his doubles. For Seb, 12 missed starts at a double. Came back to cost him dearly. Our final match of the night is between the 2 players at the bottom of the table. Thomas Banks and Bradley Roes going toe-to-toe. If Thomas wins this, he's on 4 points, and he actually finds himself in a really good suit in terms of the league table. And if Bradley Roes loses this game, he'll find himself at least 4 points adrift going into the second day's play. This is a crucial game for the bottom two, and it will set in motion the goalposts for the pair when it comes to Friday night at the Live Lounge.
Game on.
It begins with a hug, but it's going to end in warfare.
It will indeed, and
83.
Thomas has kind of played his way back into this group with that win against Sebastian Bialecki, and that loss has put Bialecki back in the group, hasn't it?
100.
It looks like we're going to have 2 at the top and 2 in the middle,
100.
1 at the bottom. The 2 in the middle battling for that last spot. I do still believe that this group could go down to leg difference on qualification. And tonight has done nothing
100.
but reinforce that fact for me.
Thomas, you've got 100.
Both players on big finishes, but Thomas has taken the darts in this first leg. He'll get first poke of the 161. It's not going to go.
50.
So Bradley looking at the 158 to
158.
open up his account in this final game of the evening.
Thomas, you've got 104. $84. Bradley, you require 100.
And our first dart's a nice guide for the triple there to leave double 10, but perseveres with tops.
80.
Unable
Thomas,
to
you
locate
require
it.
20.
Yeah, touch unlucky.
Game shot on the first leg. Thomas Banks.
Banks back for the double 10.
Second leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Well, Thomas's previous game against Sebastian Bialecki, he
99.
did to Seb what Bradley Brooks did to him, where Bradley won 4-3. He had 12 data in the deciding leg. It was an excellent contest. As you rightly mentioned, it was a slow start against Daryl Pilgrim.
130.
But since then, he has punched in some really good numbers and played at a real high level.
60.
This is a game where Thomas Banks struggles a little, where he can't keep that natural pace that he wants to throw.
58.
Because Bradley Roes is a little bit slower, and you can see he's got his arm cocked and ready to go, and Roes is still at the board. And
58.
Thomas knows he needs to stand back a bit, let Roes come out the way, come in, address the oche, and do his thing.
58.
As you can see, he's hardly back by out of his eye line before he starts throwing, and
44.
frustration can creep in, particularly if your opponent starts doing this.
180. $56.
Bradley here looking to return the favour, and he's got 6 darts here from 71 to level this clash up at 1 apiece. 1 dart in his hand, a double top. And 1 dart is all he needs to square this match up.
Third leg, it's Bradley
15
to throw
darter
first.
for Bradley to equalise this
on.
game up. We need
Bradley
to bottom of the table.
Bradley Roes' 180 there was the 29th of the evening.
That is really impressive. I mean, that would be impressive in a 15-game session, let alone a 10-match session.
Actually, I might not be able to count.
In matter of fact, there's
15. I'm just having a little count up here out loud. 28, sorry. I was one out.
96.
not going to quite take Cal Vorderman's job as of yet.
Oh no, 29 with the one he's just hit. So no, I was right.
Stop doubting yourself.
Hey,
Well, you look at me all funny.
I
Then I start doubting myself.
just do that anyway, Scott. You know that. You should know that by
Look
now.
at me like my wife looks at me when I'm in trouble.
60.
There's been a maximum in every single game this evening, including this one.
$58.
Just if you think I single you out, Scott, I'm not the only person I give that look to.
130.
Oh, that's nice. I feel special now.
Banks leaving himself on a finish after 12 against a throw.
47.
This will be the third consecutive
164.
break at the beginning of this contest.
41. Ready, require 155.
Banks goes back to the table, looking to the sky. He knows that he's not performing here as he has in his last two matches, where he was pretty outstanding.
95.
Losing
Thomas
one
require 123.
4-3 to Bradley Brooks and winning the other 4-3 to Sebastian Bialecki. And
90. Bradley requires 60.
chances here for Roes to take a 2-1 lead. He'll go across to the right again. That's the direction he goes. So he's going for the right-hand half of the double top. Down a bit.
Game
There
shot
it
the
is.
third leg. Bradley Roes.
You get to a point where you haven't won all evening and you just
Full flag. It's
throw with a bit
Thomas to
more
throw
freedom and
first. Game on.
let's be honest, Thomas is not keeping him under. That first dart is not going where he wants it to go.
96.
Nicely picked up second dart, but he's just holding on to it a tad too long, trying to make sure of the treble. And dragging it under. Well, that's 180, number 30 of the evening. 29 plus 1, 30.
59.
I'm on it.
And if you get number 31 here, you know what could happen. But it's not going to happen. Now, what are you giving me that look for, Scott?
64.
Well, it's just the one that you gave me. It's not very nice, is it?
140. $99. $96. Bradley, you require 158.
158 for Bradley for the break and a 3-1 lead. Another one of them would have left double 19. And so Banks
98. Thomas, you require
to
110.
save his throw. This is a big moment. This is a big exchange. And this is a big dart. A double 10.
90. Bradley,
That
you
could be the miss that
require
allows Bradley Roes to take full charge of the contest.
60.
Roes took 60 last leg, didn't he? Last dart. This time has to go the other side because he's thrown his first dart to the right. So got to go to the left. That's a good marker.
40.
Not quite to be. Thomas
you
couldn't
require
look.
20.
He was looking towards the commentary box.
No score. Bradley require.
The chance goes begging. He knows how important this is to get this. I think it's playing on his mind.
Double 4. Big dart. Thomas Banks looks on,
Game
hopeful it was going to get another go, but that
Bradley
opportunity isn't going to come. Bradley's got the break. He leads 3-1 and now has the darts to pick up his first points of the evening.
Game on. $140.
Another game which illustrates how young a sport this is
93.
becoming. Daryl Pilgrim is the oldest player in that room tonight. He's 37. The combined age of these two is 38.
48.
Great spot. But also what I spotted was, had Thomas Banks got over the line here, he would then have played Bradley
180.
first game yesterday, maybe been able to add 4 points to his total and put himself up there on 6 points with the others before they'd thrown a dart.
100.
Now, is that what's got into Thomas's head here on this last match? Has he been thinking ahead?
58.
Well, Banks has left himself on a finish after 9. But he is pacing up and down at the back of the stage. Cannot stand still. It's like there's a hot potato hanging around.
37.
However, that would have been
Thomas
music to his ears because he's got
170.
6 here to pull another one back.
58. $136.
Oh, that's
Thomas,
a great
412.
setup from Bradley Roes. Double 8.
Game
Oh,
shot the
big
fifth
moment.
leg.
Big
Thomas
112.
Banks.
We haven't had a ton topper for a couple of
Fifth
games.
leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Banks adds to the 112 to the 102 he had earlier.
59.
And that's the second time he's taken out a big shot at a big time because that 102 came at a pivotal passage in play in his game against Sebastian Bialecki earlier on tonight. These two, as I mentioned, because of their
60.
age, next year we have a Rising Stars week in the middle of August. The age cutoff is 21, and Bradley's not 21 till slightly after that particular tournament. So there's a high possibility that actually we could see these two play in that particular specials week in August. Tour card dependent, of course.
Tall card dependent, of course.
96.
One of 11 specials weeks plus the Global Championship in 2025 here at the Live Lounge. This tournament has been confirmed to return here in 2025.
180.
The last couple of weeks before Christmas, we'll see the second instalment of this competition.
42.
But right here, right now, Bradley Roes has 6 darts on 197 to complete a 4-2 victory against Thomas Banks and to round off what has been an incredible night's action.
81.
Well, it keeps him with a glimmer if he takes this.
116.
Oh, and look what number he's left on. 112. Should he get back? Should he get back? Single 19. Double top for the match.
77. Thomas, you require 112.
Dart of a man that hasn't had a double to win yet this evening.
But he's going to get more.
60.
Frustration
Bradley,
boiling
required
over for the
39.
Bulldog. But for Bradley Roes, his moment is here and now. Yet to taste that winning feeling. But he's going to get 2 more now at double 10. And get it he will. Relief for Bradley Roes as he finally picks up a win on Thursday. It gives him an outside shout going into Friday. But both of these two have got a lot of work to do if they are to dislodge the top 3 in this Group B. This is how the final game panned out from a statistical point of view. Bradley Roes beating Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 2, hitting 3 maximums. 4 from 12 on his doubles. He picks up points in his final game of the night. Me and Scott Mitchell will be rounding up all 10 games that we have seen this evening. There's been some real corkers. There's been some real class on show. And we'll tell you all about it on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the ADC Global Championship, where the first evening session of this tournament has more than delivered. We have 2 players tied on 6 points from the first night's play. Daryl Pilgrim and Bradley Brooks were the best of the bunch. And we saw some incredible games, including the meeting between the pair. Bradley winning 4-2 with an average of 109. Daryl losing with an average of 101. Elsewhere, Sebastian Bialecki's on 4 points. Bradley Roes beating Thomas Banks 4-2 in our last game means that those two are the bottom two, both with 2 points to their name. That's how the table looks then following the opening evening's play. Scott Mitchell has been watching all the action alongside me in the commentary box. First and foremost, before we talk about the players on an individual basis, what an evening we've been treated to here at the Live Lounge.
Well, absolutely. If this was strictly come darting, we had a slow start, a quick middle, and a slow and lethargic end.
Most certainly. Right, let's have a look at the players then in isolation. And there's only one place to start. That's Bradley Brooks, the performer of the night with the performance of the night. Lost that first game to Sebastian Bialecki, but since then, he was just unstoppable.
Yeah, and I think maybe he had to get his mojo from losing that game. Maybe that was the thing that sort of turned his head on and made him concentrate more, because after that, he looked really controlled. Each game looked controlled. Whether he felt it inside or not, that's another matter. But from where we were, our viewpoint, he looked controlled and felt that he was going to go and get the points he needed today.
Well, we said this about players like Bradley, who plays with an air of edge, has to play with a little bit of aggression. But when it's channeled perfectly, there's such a nice combination, isn't there?
Yeah, well, the fear of when you play with aggression, that it can overspill when you're not throwing and start making your mind go squirrely. But that wasn't there today. He looked in cool, calm and collected, and that's why he sat there on 6 points.
How good was that game between Bradley and Daryl?
Well, it was just at points we were frightened to talk because we wanted to let the game do the talking, and that's how good a game it was. And that's a sign when you've got a good game, when it just wants to do the talking itself.
Well, Bradley won that game with an average of 109. Daryl Pilgrim lost it with an average of 101, but his work all evening long was fantastic, averaged in excess of 90 in every single game.
Yeah, it's a little bit what we come to expect. Not always easy to do when expectation is there, but yeah, he's well enough experience for that and got the job done.
We were asking the question marks of Daryl Pilgrim because 2024 hasn't quite gone to plan, but there's been signs in recent months that he's getting closer towards his best. If he carries on to this standard over the course of the next fortnight, he's going to be a real danger to be lifting that trophy next Sunday.
The thing is, if he does manage to lift it, everything before in 2024 will be forgotten. It will be going down as a great year if he can manage to lift that. You know, we're way off of that yet. We're a week on Sunday before we know, but signs early are looking very good for him.
Sebastian Bialecki, good start to the evening session. Couple defeats towards the end. What would be your overall assessment of him?
I think Seb would be happy to go away with 2 wins. I think that would have been the minimum requirement for tonight's work that he would have accepted. Yeah, maybe the way that it happened, that he only got 2 wins, maybe not so pleased. But it would have been minimum requirement tonight. And you have to say that Bradley Roes has done him a big favour there. And by stopping Thomas Banks being on the same points as him, there's only 4 games each again tomorrow. And those gaps are very difficult to catch. You don't see the guys on 2 catching the top guys. But if Seb can go out there and win his first game, he puts the pressure on the bottom 2 catching him. And I think that's where all the importance is going to be.
Just seen the 170 of Sebastian Bialecki. Some of the finishing tonight has been absolutely excellent.
Well, he had a 145 and then a 170, which was sublime. And to have that against you for Bradley Brooks, you must be then thinking, do you know what? I've not given that game away. He's actually gone and won it. I've not done anything wrong. So I think as a mindset, you just throw your hands in the air, tip your hat and go, well done, mate, because that's what I was trying to do to you.
And just finally, Thomas Banks, how do you think he'll be walking off tonight?
Extremely disappointed with that last game, with Bradley Roos being sat there with no points whatsoever. He knows that was a big chance because he would have then played Bradley again first game tomorrow. So had he beat him tonight, he'd have gone to 4 points. And had he beat him again first game tomorrow, he'd have jumped up to 6th and put Bialecki under all sorts of panic before Bialecki's even thrown a dart. So it would have then probably come down on the head-to-head to Thomas and Bialecki, but that hasn't happened. Although Thomas can still beat Roos tomorrow and put himself level on points, he will be a game behind.
Very quickly, we've got a minute left. 4 days in. What's been your assessment of this tournament so far?
I really like it, and I think there's going to be a twist in the tail come a week on Sunday with that knockout over the longer format. That's going to suit the better players that make that last Sunday. And I, for one, can't wait.
Well, Scott, it's been great fun this evening. Probably one of the best nights we've ever had in Port. So thank you so much for your company. Thank you so much for your company as well. Remember, tomorrow we've got a double session day for you. We kick off at 1 p.m. on Pluto TV to see the conclusion to Group C. 3 players tied on 8 points then. And then later on at 10 o'clock, we'll have the thrilling conclusion to Group B, where so far it's so good for BB Bradley Brooks. Bam Bam was absolutely brilliant, whilst Daryl Pilgrim showed some perfect class himself. From all of us here, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye for now.